learn about the full history of the Bavarian Illuminati. Adam Weishaupt, Alumbrados, Jesuits, Rosicrucians, Freemasons, and more. From the 18th century to modern day, we expose it all. That's right, it's the Illuminati comic from Donut and Paranoid American. Get yours now at IlluminatiComic.com.
Hey. Yeah, 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 yeah. Woo, woo, woo. Don't call me, I'll call you. Don't call me, I'll call you. Money stacking up, I got things to do. Getting rich, making moves, that's the cruise. Phone on silent, I ain't hearing you. Don't call me, I'll call you. Paper chasing, that's what I'm into. Busy running, gotta keep it true. Don't call me, I'll call you. I'm on the go, you know the vibe. Whipping the whip, I'm taking a ride. You hitting my line, I'm letting it slide. I got the hustlers nationwide. Running machine, counting it fast. Blowing my phone, I'm chasing a bag. Hanging on top of the chick in the chat. I'm on a mission, I'm doing the math. Ice on my wrist, it's looking like snow. Diamonds so cold, they hit it like whoa. Don't need distractions, I'm stacking the dough. When I'm done, you know I let you know. Don't call me, I'll call you. Money stacking up, I got things to do. Getting rich, making moves, that's the cruise. Phone on silent, I ain't hearing you. Don't call me, I'll call you. Paper chasing, that's what I'm into. Busy grinding, gotta keep it true. Don't call me, I'll call you. Rain, but I ain't gon' pick up. I'm in the crack, gotta get my racks up. Pushing the gas, I ain't never gon' stop. Grinding so hard, I'm taking the top. Fat roll thick, pockets on swole. You hitting my line, I'm letting it go. Let it do so clean, dripping and go. You ain't on my level, you already know. Stay in your lane, I'm running the game. Phone on silent, you know the name. Make any moves, stacking the change. Don't need no drama, ain't playing no games. Don't call me, I'll call you. Money stacking up, I got things to do. Getting rich, making moves, that's the cruise. Phone on silent, I ain't hearing you. Don't call me, I'll call you. Paper chasing, that's what I'm into. Busy running, gotta keep it true. Don't call me, I'll call you. I'm on the mission, ain't got no time. Holding up since I'm on the grind. Phone on mute, I'm in my prime. Don't call me, I'm cutting the line. Pockets so fat, pockets obese. I'm blowing my phone, I'm chasing the cheese. I'm in the top, it's a different breed. Focus on money, I'm feeling at ease. Making these plays, running the scope. Don't need your call, I'm ready for more. Waiting on me, I'm setting the tone. When I get there, I hit up your phone. Layla, hates her, hotties. Oh yeah, Layla, she hates her, hotties. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she hates the hotties. Oh yeah. She hates the hotties.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? Is Satan controlling the universe?
Here comes Santa. Here comes the world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing rule. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguist good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, making it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing rule. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguist good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, making it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys.
Big up your Friday night, and we missed you guys. How
Yes.
are you? Secret Society of Good Guys, long time, no Milton C.
Me love you long time.
And just so everyone knows, like, we still meet up ourselves in secret,
Yeah.
even if we don't live. Like, we still do a whole extra show just to ourselves, which is kind of weird. Like, we don't record it, we don't stream it. We just have an awesome show like every week for another hour or 2 hours or sometimes longer, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's our secret lodge meetings.
It's like the extra secret meeting. Like, only 4 people know about it.
We can't talk about it.
Yeah, that's it.
We don't talk about Fight Club. That's the first rule of Fight Club.
So how are you guys? Everybody's good around here in the Florida parts. There is cleanup and everything happening around my area, but everybody does have power and, more importantly, internet right now, so we can Secret Society of Good Guy. How's Orlando? Good? Good, Thomas?
I
Yeah?
rebuke Orlando.
Rebuke. We
Orlando, I rebuke you.
Isn't it like a New York City kind of like feel? Not like exactly like New York
A lot
City.
gayer, like softer and gayer, and more like people are. You know how aggressive people are in New York City? People are that passive aggressive in Orlando. It's like the same energy, but it's like veiled.
I get it. I could see that.
keep Orlando passive aggressive.
I
if
guess
you don't mind.
Yeah, just stay there. Stay in your little
Bless your
circle.
heart.
Mm.
Anyways, yeah. So what else happened since we last hung? What's been going on in the world?
Just the government manipulating the weather, shit like that, and people discovering how they do it. And more people are waking up to it. Even my customers, they're like, Layla, I thought about you today. I'm like, why? Well, I was talking with this man, and he's a wealthy man, and he has a house in Kentucky, and blah, 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 blah. And his wife was just talking about everything you were talking about. She's like, yeah, I know this girl who says the same thing. And at first I thought it was crazy. I was like, oh, so you had to listen to a rich person say it, and then you believe it, man? And he started laughing. But yeah, more and more people are fucking becoming aware to the fact that, hey, the government is not always your friend. They manipulate the weather.
Hi, you
It can be
guys.
your friend.
I just forgot that I had the chat too.
Yeah, the chat, I miss them so much. You guys are fucking amazing. Like all of you.
Orlando is Karen country. That's a good way of putting it, I guess.
Oh yeah.
I feel bad for anyone that hasn't had a chance to live in a number of different cities, because like I've lived in a few really cool cities, so I feel like I know the difference, or at least I know that there's something else out there. But a lot of people might just go to like 2 or 3 in a lifetime and have those to pick from. So
yeah,
Orlando's not it. It's not. It's like if you're looking for a city, Orlando's not the city.
Well, the boroughs are like different worlds too. Like
Mhm.
Queens is different from Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is different from Manhattan, and Staten Island is like a village. It's like
I
it's
heard.
all
Is there any truth to this that Queens keeps on making it, but Brooklyn keeps on taking it?
in a sense, yeah. It's almost like I don't want to go there, but it's like the Jews take over. They buy all the
Is
land,
that
and
what it was BDP all about the Jews?
I'm telling you, listen, if you go on the avenue, I guess the Alphabet Avenue, it's like Avenue A, B, C, D in Brooklyn. Starting from Church Avenue on to like, I don't know, Avenue Q, it's like mainly Jewish, and they have their own hospitals, their own schools, their own policing, their own everything. You name it, they have it.
So
Like, let's say,
Avenue Q is Orthodox Jew?
well, the town, like, and gentrification, it's mainly these people buying these lands or these whatever they're called, real estate properties
Mm.
off, and then they skyrocket the prices of rent and just clean up shop, if that's what they like to call it. So it's like Palestine and Israel.
Because Avenue Q is
Desert
also
Island.
it's the gay Sesame Street.
Probably. It's just fascinating. Like, literally, if you're okay, even they'll talk about it. These people in Brooklyn, they'll talk about it. Like, let's say you're a non-Jew and you pass out in that town. You will wait maybe like 2-3 hours for an ambulance to come now, like in today's time. But if you were Jewish and you fell, guess what? You'll have an ambulance there in like 2 minutes, not even. That's how it is. Like, they take care of their people.
Can you just buy a hat and the
Your
curls?
goy? Sorry.
That seems like a cheap insurance plan, though. Like, instead of paying $400 a month, you just get a yarmulke and some curls, and like if you ever get hit by a car in traffic, it's like, bam, you're taken care of.
Yeah. Literally.
That's better than Cobra. That's better than
Hey.
Obamacare.
Hey, all power to them. This is not me hating. It's like, yo, this is what everyone's lacking in a sense as community, because they are community. Like, dude, what
They're
if
not waiting around for the government to take care of them.
you won't ever see a Jewish, like, no, they won't.
Well, what government could you possibly trust as a Jew, right? Like they've been screwed over by pretty much any government that they ever lived under. So I guess there's almost like an inherent mistrust in any government at that point. Like, trusting your own government would be the only thing that would truly make sense.
Listen,
It's
I
kind of
wouldn't
the same with the
mind.
Native Americans, if you think about it.
I wouldn't mind doing that, but that's what the Antichrist is when they fully take over everything. One world government, one world religion, one world everything, and it's going to be under their world, under their order. It's the new world order. That's the Antichrist that everyone's waiting for. And once all of that trickles down, communism, and
I mean, Mexico
that's
has
the
a
plan.
female Jewish president now. How fucking weird is that? They killed
I'm telling
37
you.
fucking people who are candidates for
I
president,
want to
and
give like Sam Tripoli credit for this, reading it online on X at Sam Tripoli. I feel like he said if no, it was Alex Stein actually, who's
Huh.
like, if you can become the president of Mexico, because they've had like tens of presidents killed, like
37.
yeah, tens, yeah, like tons of presidents killed. Like, they've had so many killed. Like, look around at who you can't talk about if the cartel will let you be president. And it was like, damn, that's
Yeah.
some fucking power. If you can make the cartel
Just
back
the
up.
fact that it's a woman, that seems really almost backwards to me, even in Mexico, doesn't it? I mean,
Do you know how far back this goes? This goes as far back as Christopher Columbus, apparently. He is apparently not Italian, but of Jewish descent. And we've been like blaming the Italians this whole time, but it kind of makes sense. It's like history repeats itself. They exterminated all of the all of the people that lived here. And it's like, this the Israel that they were talking about back in the day, like this being America, and like the actual Israelis of this time and this era, because they found ancient Qurans, Torahs here, Bibles here that talk about it here in America that are ancient. So that could be a possibility.
The Mormons think so, right?
yeah,
mean,
they do. Yeah, America is the Holy Land.
No, I don't watch
A lot more than just Mormons. Like a lot of different people used to believe that. And I mean, in fact, even the Native Americans, they've got stories that a lot of their sacred, ancient burial grounds were built on top of other burial grounds that they had found. And I heard
Yeah.
someone recently talking about these examples where someone will come to the Americas and find something that they saw in Europe or saw like in Eastern, like Asia, and be like, wow, I wonder who brought that here. Did the Vikings come here? Did the Asians come here? But what if you flip that on its head and everything started in the Americas and like ventured outwards, and that it's not people coming here and being like, wow, how did these Native Americans get a hold of this? It's more like, how do you not realize that like you just came back to the source where all this came from, and then you've just been kind of playing with like the cover band for the last 2,000 years.
Yeah. And what the true Israel that they probably want is this one. And we're all being like,
It's
look
Jersey.
here,
They're actually
not
fighting
there.
over Jersey. They don't know it yet.
I'm telling you, I swear to God, because during the whole World War II of it all, like
My
these
southern
Zionists,
inside voice said, "Now, Layla, don't go swearing to God." Like I was like, I had to say it.
well, in World War II, the Zionists did ask for a piece of Arizona to create as the greater Israel, like the new Israel. And they said no. And they said, here's the deal. We could go to Albania, or we could go to fucking Palestine. We could give you Palestine. Which one do you want? We're not going to give you America, though. That was not part of the deal. And they went with Palestine because they said we can't fuck with Albanians because they have Besa. So, yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah. I just feel like at what point, if all of history is a lie, then you obviously want to give some credence to the land you own being the land that everyone's from or being the first people. Like, I can't remember who it might have actually been Longo at one point is like, isn't that the goal of every civilization to prove they were the first?
To be the oldest and the first.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't think that's ever been the goal of America. Like we never even were under the assumption
No,
that
but
we
see,
were.
but there are so many people that I think maybe like erroneously think that way, that almost if they find the first book, or if they can prove that this person said it first, then they're the most right about it, which kind of discounts the whole concept of refinement. You know what I mean? And like figuring things out over time and building on top of things. I think that's the Freemason in me, right? But I believe that things are more important that have been built upon over thousands of years than necessarily like the initial spark of an idea that might not have been fully fleshed out yet. But a lot of people think the opposite. They think that like refinement doesn't exist and refinement is just corruption.
Mm.
I know, and I kind of am like a Library of Alexandria, like a bunch of knowledge from all the history, like that everyone figured out about every herb, about every star in the sky, about every man that might have walked the earth. Like if there was information and if you have it, like they were like power is knowledge. And we're under this assumption now because we're all smart, but high IQ is fake and everything we think we know is kind of fake. It's not actual knowledge.
Mhm.
And we
True.
all of us, most of our awakening is you're just awakening to your Rockefeller education and how wrong it was and how much time you wasted doing it. And you're like, everything I learned is really bullshit. Why would they do this to me? So I don't know. I
Well,
guess that's
I mean, I remember growing up that part of the ways that kids would actually determine how much smarter they were than other kids were like how many Monopoly like our teachers would print out like their own version of paper Monopoly money and like give it to you if you did a good job. And the other one was like the Pizza Hut pan pizza. If you read a bunch of books and you get points to like do, and that like think about how crazy that is, that kids are like, I'm smarter than you. I've earned more Pizza Hut coupons than you have. Therefore, I must be like on some extra level. But that was like a real mentality. It's not even hyperbole.
it's really kind of blowing my mind though. Also, I know but it's just like the pizza bucket of it all. Like
Yeah, dude. The bucket program. Yeah.
yeah,
I
bucket.
I did, like had to give those to my kids all the time because I was a reading teacher. So
You know what I did is I'm just a pro tip to all of the kids listening right now at midnight. I would just go in the school library. I don't know, 5th grade, right? This is like 4th or 5th grade, I think. And I would just look at the backs of books and just basically re-summarize what it said the book was about, and then just put the number of pages down. Like, yep, I read that. Like, I would just turn in like 5 or 6 books every day. That like, oh
Well,
yeah, I read this
see,
one and I read this one, and
it's different now though because you can't get away with that, and it's not even a book report. You have to take an AR test. So there's this whole software that now that I'm on the software tech side of things, that every kid and it takes every book you've read since 1st grade pretty much. Like, it keeps
what?
track of
That's
it. So you can't reread a
crazy.
book and get points. Each book is worth a certain amount of points. So you have to meet your AR goal. AR is accelerated reader. So they have to meet a certain point goal. Like you set it for the 9 weeks or the semester, and then they have to read a certain level, and it's based on like the test that you give like 3 times a year, and the test determines like what their reading level is. Like, so if they're in 4th grade and they're only reading at a 3rd grade level, then they could read books from 2nd grade 5th month to 3rd grade 5th month. Like, that's their reading zone, and those are
What
the
did they
books
do
that
to
are going to
book
help them
it?
grow.
Now it just sounds like an MK Ultra program.
Yeah,
It's
well, that's the other thing with Book It that I was thinking about is like, you know how they told us everyone with Catcher in the Rye, they were all like assassinating people. They also got a list of every book we all were reading throughout our entire years. We were reading them, picking out our own books. So it's like they kind of got to see, they were like, look it, we have all this information, how to program these motherfucker with symbolisms, with emojis, with everything that pretty much they handed us later on with iPhone or with the phone is like everything we gave them from Book It.
You know what fucked up?
It's the
It-
pizza of it all. We'll vote for
Is
it.
it
We'll
is
get
it still Pizza Hut that does Book It, or is it its own
yeah,
thing now?
it's Pizza Hut. It's Pizza Hut, and the teacher
Wow.
gets to decide how to do it. You don't have to do it based on however many points or whatever. Like, because I did a 40 book challenge. Like, I'd ask, like, challenge all my students to read 40 books a year. So that was kind of part of it, was encouraging them to read, but then I had to find what books they liked, because that's kind of like, if you're a good reading teacher, you don't just make them read bullshit they don't want to read. You find stuff that like appeals to them so that they can become a reader. Because if I'm going to make you read a book that you fucking hate, you're never going to like reading. But if I can like figure out your interests and stuff, then I can find
Is
something that's
that they
more
don't like it because everyone could like reading? We have an epidemic of autism.
autistic kids love to read though. Love it.
Yeah, not
Yeah, I've
all.
never had I mean, almost every autistic kid I had loved to read. Like, they would not listen to the lesson, they would be sitting there reading their books.
I think these things. I think the TV and the screens and the quicker the screens move and the flickering behind the screens, like them saying 4K, yeah, how great can your eyes see? Eventually,
Yeah.
how good can your TV get? It's really the properties of what's going on and the lights behind it that are strobing at you. So if all the kids are on these devices and parents are handing their phone and their iPads to children all the time, like we got all that stuff later. So we all like to read until we had an activity that was kind of like a more stimulating to more of our senses. But
Mm,
it's like sometimes that calming down, that like, just letting this sense work in your eyeballs, it's like that used to be more norm probably before all the screens. Cause they even tried to just do it on your Kindle. Just do it. But Kindle is actually way better than trying to read on your iPhone, I will say. Like it's like soft pages. It's
I
different
I
than
don't know why I always go back to this stuff. I feel like that is the main cause of it all. Like when you tie that in, because everybody, like we didn't know when we were younger, everybody was doing it. Yes, thank you very much. Um, is that shit? And then like I'm looking, I'm scrolling, and I'm like, yo, everyone is fucking autistic. Like not everyone, but like a lot of the
I
population.
am.
There's
I
a
feel like I'm on some sort of
yeah,
spectrum. We're
I
all
swear.
in this room, you're on some sort of spectrum,
Period.
except
Yeah,
like
so it's
Or a
just like
list.
or a
there's
list or both.
Both.
there's levels to this shit, all right, y'all. There's levels of autistic spectrum.
I just feel like, I don't know, you can turn anyone into a reader, and that was what I realized, because, like, it's all in the approach. The old approach doesn't work for shit. Like, you really have to make learning in every way fun. Like that's what I taught grammar, and it was fun because we'd make a whole group activity. And we'd I'd read them a book, pick apart a sentence from a book, and we model it, and we make our own sentences and laugh at each other and vote for the best one. And it was such a game that I don't know, they loved learning grammar. I was like, I was the fun teacher. Who fucking likes learning about adjectives and pronouns? Like nobody likes that.
So how do you
And
make?
reading is the
What's an
same thing.
example of making a sentence fun?
Okay, well, give me a sentence, and then I'll what? Okay,
We're
so
all gonna die.
we're all gonna die.
No,
That's
we're all
true.
gonna live.
It's true.
Objectively
It's
true.
fine.
Okay, so one day we would actually I'd make them change the sentence and use synonyms. So they would so die, then you would say use what's a synonym for die?
Unalive.
Or you could say go to heaven if you wanted to uplift it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So we're trying to use vivid vocabulary. So that's what we do. So
Or,
yeah, go.
Oxidize.
or that final vacation.
We're all going on a final vacation. That's the last thing you want to hear your parents say.
The final vacation.
So then
This
the next
is your
day
last
we change
summer.
it. And so the
Mhm.
next time we were gonna change it, and then we change it. The next day we change the same sentence, and everyone does it, and they read I let them all read their sentence out loud, and then we change it to now instead of synonyms, we're gonna do like antonyms, or you just copy the sentence structure. We are all gonna die, and you copy the structure, but then now we're going to you can change it to whatever. Like So, but we do either antonyms or I had one kid who always put chicken nuggets in his sentence, no matter what the sentence was or whatever the original sentence was about, he would somehow incorporate chicken nuggets into it. And it was hilarious. Like everybody got to show their personalities, and it was just fun because they would get creative and they got better vocabularies from it. And the first day we'd actually take the whole sentence and we go, okay, so what's we? Like we is what part of speech? It's a pronoun. Why is it a pronoun? Because it takes the place of a noun. Who's it, so I'd go over the vernacular, but they would raise their hands and try to race to see who could pick out the part of speech for me. Like it's all a game. When it's a game, it's fun.
Yeah, that's how I learned better. Like it was
All
interactive
kids do.
instead of
Kids
just
learn
like
from play. They don't learn from sitting there trying to read
copy
books and
these notes.
memorize and copy notes.
Ah,
They don't.
the
They
fuck?
all of
Positive
us do.
reinforcement.
Yeah, we learn from play. Like you learn how to pour water without
Do you
spilling
think
it,
this is
by
just
sitting there
interesting to
pouring
me?
it.
Because, like,
It's
I
play.
believe when I see my nieces in their book bags, I'm like, they're so tiny. And those book bags are like
Huge.
twice the size of the books I had. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like the amount of homework they're bringing home too is twice the amount I was bringing home. And then I was thinking of my parents, like my parents would be like, you guys have so much homework. And then I would just watch it just get progressively more for the kids below us. And like our parents didn't have as much homework. But then I was thinking just now reading my Cherie the bomb ass moderator for everyone's chat, a famous
I
person
love
on
her.
YouTube if you don't know already.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking how we're kind of the generation they made us all bring our work home with us.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they
Oh my
knew
gosh.
they were going to lock us down, and so they had to slowly work up homework more in school so we'd accept it as adults sitting here fucking at our house in our free time doing that.
We just got home from work and now we have to work a couple more
Yeah.
hours to
And
get
the
it all
way
done. Yeah.
Hell
that they
yeah, that was
changed
the smartest thing ever. Because if school's about trying to get you to turn into little workers, what else is then to violate that line between the outside world and the inside world? Like now you're literally bringing work, like real work home. So yeah, so when you get to an older person, it doesn't seem like it's violating any boundaries that now you're working from home.
Yeah. It's just what
not
you
even
do.
that's work, but it's like a different type of homework. It's not even the homework that I've dealt with when I was growing up. I'm like, what the fuck is this math? I'm like,
Homework
this
on
is not
notice.
the math that I learned. Like, why are you doing division and adding and subtracting this way? Just do it this way. Bop, bop, bop. My brother had no idea about this, the normal way of adding and subtracting. It was like a whole, make a grid, put this number here, and then make groups. And
You
I'm
got to
like, "What?"
donate to like the Clinton campaign, like halfway until you get to the
I was like,
answer.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
when
like, "No
that's what the
wonder why
issue
these kids are
is.
failing."
Politics got involved, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do this, and these are the new standards." And so I'm glad Oklahoma never adopted Common Core. They have always had their own standards. So
But
standard math is taught standard.
Thomas said something brilliant like the other day that one of the reasons they do that too is if they make you go through this whole system and you have to show your work for this certain kind of system of math, then Layla saying, this is how you do it and this is simple and it doesn't matter Layla's degree, it's also telling you that you can't trust an adult in their system. Like it's already breaking that. It's another bit of that Santa Claus. It's another bit of that replacement of like they're forcing you to lie to your kids.
Yeah.
But they're instead now they're gonna like, well, it's gonna be a different truth. And
Yeah.
so now not even math is real.
Yeah, it's like they want to erase the ways of math and replace it with a new type of math. Like, oh, that's not useful anymore. We're gonna just complicate it, really make it hard for you guys. And that's
Wait,
what
Common
I'm like,
Core is a 33. I just
oh
sorry.
Yeah,
shit, yeah.
it is right.
Oh my goodness.
I always think this too, that like I'll never forgive my math teachers for making me hate math, because if it really is this universal language, it's just something that I'll never get over. That I would go home and go back to school almost in tears over how complicated they would make it. Even if you figured out how to get the answer, if you didn't show your work the way that they want, and this is before Common Core, right? It was like 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
And I remember just being so frustrated, like, but I have the answer. What do you mean I have
Same.
to show? Like, I didn't get it the way you're showing me how to get it. I got it this other way. And it was just like, that's not how it's done. And it broke me, and it made me hate math and be scared of math for the longest time. And
Yeah.
like, it's something you can't really easily get over.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I liked math up until algebra, and then I got to high school, and I had a teacher just like that. We had block scheduling, so we had like 2 hours,
Yep.
and the
Yep.
teacher would lecture for the whole 2 fucking hours, and like I'd take notes, the best notes you could possibly imagine. I'd go home, and she would give us no time to work on it for geometry and algebra too. And
Yeah.
I was a straight A student, and I was smart. Like math was my thing, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. I couldn't even do my work, and then yeah, like I
I
cheated my
liked
way through
school.
those 2, but then I get to pre-calculus with a different teacher, and I fucking had the highest grade in class.
But you
Like,
don't really know, most kids don't have that luxury to be like, you know what, I'm going to swap to another teacher. I'm going to keep jumping around
yeah,
teachers until I find one that works for me.
yeah,
That's the opposite
you
of how it
don't.
used to work, right?
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
liked school up until they got rid of those papers that smelled like and got you high. Remember?
What? Wait, what?
Oh,
The ditto papers,
yeah, those
yeah.
I loved it. I loved
What are
writing on
wh-
them. It was just like a different texture. It was just like I loved those papers.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
It's
you
probably
do.
those papers are probably why I lost my spleen.
No. No, they took it away for a reason, and I think it's like, "Oh, this is making kids ask questions." Like a psychedelic, you know? It just put you in a trance, in a state, you
Are
know?
these legal
Kinda
ditto
like,
papers? Is this
Is
like
it what
LSD
they're
we're
like,
called?
because
talking
the
about?
old ditto machines, like, they were
Oh,
like,
yeah.
a lot of them were like, did the purple copies, but it would do this whole ink page.
Memograph, there you go.
Yeah, because we'd find those. I found one of them one time, and, um, because it's like a print, like, it does it the opposite, like, it does a whole page of purple, and then it'll just carve out the letters on the paper, like,
Okay.
and
For
I
the
found
overhead
the
projector or just for any paper?
no, this is, like, for making paper copies. So, it was a dittograph or something like that, a
Yeah.
ditto machine,
Hmm.
and then this purple paper, though, like, the oh my gosh, you could touch it, and you could I found one time, and
I know what
we
you're
all got in
talking
trouble
like
because
receipt paper?
yeah, yeah, how receipt paper is, like, on that purple, but it's
Yeah.
like it does this whole
Or like any
purple printout.
copy of like law
Yes.
documents, the in
Yes.
between? Okay.
Yeah, like a carbon,
Okay.
but it's like but it's actually like purple ink, and
Yeah.
so it does it prints a purple ink page, and then the only thing that is out of it is whatever was copied onto the actual photo paper.
Yeah, and you could
So,
Oh.
use anything, like anything
yeah.
you handwrite and you didn't have a copy machine, you just wrote on that piece of paper and it copied it, and it made a ton of copies for you, as many as you wanted, and worksheets, like
Hmm.
It just smelled so great. I missed that.
We got in trouble because like we found one in the trash and we were like
Fucking
messing
drug
with
addict
it,
it.
and then,
kindergarten, bro.
we all had purple
Did anyone
hands.
ever roll a joint out of that paper?
Ooh,
A big
that'd be
blunt.
like
That could be like some next level, like Sherm.
That's
me
how
get a
you break
charger,
the
hold on.
Matrix. CERN
we
just
got in trouble with rubber
explodes.
cement because that smelled really good.
I do want to say if you have any of that carbon paper on hand and you do have extra money, time, or space and feel like coming to hang out with the Secret Society of Good Guys among any other people, we will all be at Brohemian Grove. You can find tickets on brogrove.com. If you aren't frightened of some of the comics and hosts, and they're all pretty much, I don't know, anyone that listens to me, I feel like nothing on here will offend you. You've heard me say it. Or like nothing on here should offend you. So but it will be tons of fun, tons of good people, tons of great content, and you guys should all come hang out, and you'll be able to get tons of Paranoid American merch that will only be sold at Brohemian Grove, and even copies of posters and everything like this. So do come out. It is this Friday. You might have to go there and stream something. I'll find a link and drop it to you guys, but we'll all be there on Friday, or we'll be in a hotel room and figure out how to do this, which could happen too. So yeah, this time next week, we will all be hanging out.
Or we'll be in jail.
So much fun.
There is a non-zero chance that we might all actually end up in jail.
Nah. Who's bailing
What
us
are we
out?
gonna do? Oh my
Who's
gosh,
bailing
that
us
sounds
out, huh?
exciting.
I feel like Thomas and we could call somebody to come get us.
Well, hear me out. I know this sounds
Thomas's
like a
great
really
parents will come get us.
yeah. No, my parents will come get us. They
Who
live
would
in
bail?
the
Who would bail me out in the chat?
state.
Yeah, that would be another reason you might have to come.
Are you
to
killing
Brohemian
like
Grove.
a GoFundMe to get any of us out of jail would probably explode. It would probably be pretty good actually.
It
And on that
would.
note too, this is a horrible idea, but I just wanted to float it. What if somebody reports the Brohemian Grove as like this extremist groups are all getting together and like I don't even know, like a protest, or like the police should be there to
Bring it,
make sure nothing's
bitch.
going on.
Antifa, bring it, bitch.
Yeah. I don't know. That could be great exposure. So like maybe Top should report himself for like having an extremist convention going on.
Yeah. Bring it, bitch. I dare you.
All of a sudden, Layla
I
with
would
gold
love
guns. It
the
rolls into
Antifa
a
there.
whole different kind of party we weren't prepped for.
It's actually Fight
Feds
Club.
on deck.
I would
No one
love
knows.
that.
Yeah, Feds, you're on
I
notice.
invite that. Ooh.
that, and we're like, oh my.
Why did she bring an Uzi?
How did she have that? Where did she hide that?
I would love. I would love it. I've never met an Antifa member yet, and I lived in New York City. I'm thankful I haven't met one, but they don't have Antifa.
You know how you were talking about Karens?
Uh-huh.
You'd be surprised what like online Antifa looks like in real life.
Would I be surprised?
Yes, you would. Because
how,
I
like-
was sure surprised because you know how Antifa thinks they're one kind of way, but Anons, like you were talking about, everyone's autistic. Anons are a group of autists. They will research everything to the core. So
I hope so.
when I got doxxed, I had a group of people that they looked into all the Antifa account that doxed me and everything about the people that are behind this account and everything they're up to. And so I was kind of like, huh, it's like a fat lady.
Like,
I
really?
was surprised. Like, it's not even an organization. It's not like I didn't say anything to offend anyone, really. It's just like somebody who's Antifa.
It's right in the name. It's Anti-Fa. And the FA stands for fat ass. It's anti-fat ass. That's it. That's the whole thing.
I was so like kind of surprised at the group of people that it was. So I wonder, like, I mean, that just could be my Antifa group, but I just imagine I seen the like soy boy Antifa guys, like white guys for Harris, and I just imagine that women are running the show of that shit. Like those men are all soft little pudgy mudge. So I just imagine like some fat bitches running the
I
Antifa.
hope so. I'll
thing.
make them cry. I'll shit on them. Like I will be the big mean girl. Oh my god. I will call them all types of fucking ugly. You fucking ugly fat bitch. Get the fuck out of my face, you fucking dirty cunt. You fucking I'll go off. I don't care. Yeah, fat bitch.
I think
Yes.
it's fine. I think it's fine.
I
But
don't
anyways,
I don't care.
Antifa.
Whatever it is, I will say it.
Yeah.
And everybody should. This is America. Don't get used to this. Oh, it's sensitive. We need you know what we need back? Bullying. We
This is like
need
the
bullies
opposite of a
back.
kissing booth. Like people pay like $5, and she's like, "Yo, you
There
fucking
is.
motherfucker."
Layla could have a whole OnlyFans where she just bullied guys and they put money in her bank.
That would be
You
great.
could.
If you're
Yeah,
into
where you
that,
could
let
be
me
like, "Are
know, bro.
you
I will start
fucking
something up."
kidding me?"
Yeah, I got a message the other day in my
We need
inbox that
bullying
was
back.
like, "I really like muscular women. Would you please just send me like I'll pay you to send me like sweaty gym pics?" And I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
You're
okay."
like,
she will
"Oh,
buy your dirty panties
that's where
for big
I
money.
remember when we're all hanging out in a group back when, and it was like when we were even talking about it, that because I would just scream at guys like, how could you just let your country go to shit in the room and stuff? The guys like liked it.
Like, "Ooh, that's hot."
They were like,
Mm.
oh,
Keep
maybe I'll
screaming at
pay
me.
a patriotic lesbian to scream at me about not being as good as my father. I don't know. It was,
Yes,
like,
guys,
so
for real.
silly.
We need bullying back. Too many bitches out here. Like, no, we need to bully some of these kids. Like, not like to the point where they're gonna kill themselves, but like, toughen these kids up a little bit. Everyone's so sad. Oh my god, he made fun of me. No, like, deal with it. I was bullied my entire life, but look, I am the strongest bitch ever now because of it. So we need the bullies.
If this generation could handle some like for real, to me, when I think of cyberbullying in my childhood brain, that seems traumatizing. To come home from school and
Hella.
have to still deal with that thing, and then your grandma sees it and your mom sees it. It's like levels of shame. And so
Yeah.
that is so different than being able to compartmentalize your life, where you might not be the coolest kid at church, but you're cool at school. And you might not be cool at school, but you're cool at your, little
Computer
soccer
game.
group, and
Mhm.
whatever thing
Roblox.
your little group is. But because of the internet, online has become all encompassing. That's everyone has to watch you go through your shame moment instead of you being able to get away from it. So it's like Rye or Die was saying, like old fashioned bullying, not this fucking internet
Yes.
Nephilim shit.
That's what
Like,
I
Where
mean.
you're hiding behind the keyboard.
yes, because a
Yeah.
lot of the people that are hurting people's feelings behind the keyboard are fucking
The
like,
people that deserve to be bullied.
yeah, like they're the people that it's like, what happened? What
You
in the
fucking
fuck
fat
gives you the
bitch.
Dude,
right?
Behind
my
the
school
scenes?
district
Yeah.
banned all cell phones. Like, kids are not allowed to have cell phones at school anymore. For that
I
reason, it's
love
like
that.
it's gotten out of control. So they're just
People
like,
are like,
"Nope."
oh my God, how am I going to call your kid? Call him like it's
Call the fucking
19 fucking
office.
83,
Yeah.
bitch.
Yep.
Does it actually help though? Does it eliminate bullying by just not letting them have their phones?
Yeah, and like, because my daughter is 16, so she's just like, "Honestly, mom," she's like, "I hate that I can't message you when I want to, but I'm a tech person," so she just figured out she could email me. So, but she's like, but she said, "Really, it helps a lot because there is so much drama that happens
Yeah,
at
and a lot
school
of
with the
kids
phones,
do it for the
especially with
likes.
Snapchat." Yeah.
Yeah, they do it for the likes. They want moments. They create havoc just so they
And
could create.
taking pictures. They're taking pictures of each other and, sending them to their friends and stuff at awkward moments. It's just like, could you imagine that?
I
And some
wouldn't be
kids,
surprised.
like their blue check marks, their heroes, their TikTok heroes, are making livings being young, and you have parents exploiting their kids to kind of show them to do this. That it's like the new Rockefeller education is the TikTok society. Like, there's nothing we need to teach you if we can just get you to sit and consume.
Dude,
Yeah.
I can only imagine what kids are doing now. When I was in high school, we had a staircase that was called the fucking staircase, where people were getting blowjobs, fucking getting pregnant, all kinds of shit. So I could only imagine what they're doing now with their phones and being all fucking weird and
Oh,
perverted. And
you don't wanna
I
know.
don't want to know, but I could only fucking
Vor,
imagine.
right? They're doing
Vor.
vor,
Yeah, their heads going to
crawling
vor.
to each other's mouths and
Oh my god.
entering their bellies.
What did I say to you guys the other day? Nigga in my butthole. That- like that came up. Okay, that just came up the other day, but it came up last year. And I mean, like a student was searching niggas in my butthole, and I was like,
It's a
"What?"
rap song that some middle
Yeah,
schooler uploaded like 7 years ago on YouTube, and it like blew up.
Yeah, and has
yeah.
millions of
And I
views.
was like, "What the fuck?" So I sent it to the principal and everything, and then they're like, "It's a song." So the principal, like, he's retired, but it came up the other day, and I was like, I had to text it to him. Like, I was like, "Your
This is
favorite
what the kids
song."
are watching. Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's some crazy stuff that it just in your phones in like this way of like in like somebody's doing a thing of Abbie later on and they're like and she's texting men niggers in her butthole. Like with no context, this is kind
Yeah.
of how I feel about the Egyptian pyramids.
Well, that's how I feel when I'm looking up what kids are searching. I'm like, "What the fuck are they looking up? Oh my god." Like,
Well,
niggas in my
also, who
butthole?
is setting those trends? Because it's not like a kid is randomly coming up with the ideas of like what becomes popular and spread around, right? Because there are algorithms that exist that could suppress or endorse that kind of stuff.
I never even and this is just what kids are looking up.
Kids are
But
funny.
like how organic is vor? How organic is that specific thing to become popular
That is
versus
strange.
like
Yeah.
there's something behind it?
I know. Do I have a war picture on hand?
I think it was mostly like furry and anime related.
I feel like I do have a war somewhere on here. Somewhere we have war Biden or war Hillary or war somebody.
Oh,
Or
dude, I have the
someone.
longest list when we were at the comic convention. We were just coming up with different vor puns for like 2 or 3 hours straight.
Oh yeah, she was talking about that on the Sunday night show after the event.
It was so funny. Like some of the best ones. And tonight there were some new Bach Saga ones that I was kind of like, huh. Brokeback Mountain with a guy sitting up there by himself that says,
Mhm.
I cannot quit you is amazing.
It's too niche though, right? Like even if you nail the delivery and you nail the landing, only like 0.0
One
repeating
person stands
one.
up
Yeah.
and is like,
One
yippee!
person in a million and be like, I get that reference.
It's goofy with the flag and that one, how it would just be like, yippee! And it would just be like one person in the whole auditorium of 1,000 people booing. I don't know.
Speaking of cartoons, I recently posted a clip of one of the Looney Tunes episodes. And in this episode, one of the I guess is the little bird, but it's not Tweety Bird. I guess maybe it's the older version of Tweety Bird and the big chicken. You know those characters in Looney Tunes, the big male chicken. I forgot
At
his name.
Chicken Hawk and
4747 of
whatnot.
us being live, you said big chicken and you had wings behind you.
There you go.
You were like, big chicken, like
Yeah.
big chicken.
So the little bird folds up a plane and throws it up into the sky with dry ice in it, okay? And then the plane starts flying and it lands in a cloud and becomes a huge storm. And this was made in the what 19, I would say maybe 50s, something like that. But they show it. They show it to you in cartoons. They tell us in little fucking ways, but I was blown away to see it. I'm like, you know how many times I seen this fucking episode?
It was
And
like
me,
Foghorn Leghorn,
Yeah.
yeah,
old.
Foghorn Leghorn.
and I
That's what she's
never
talking about.
put two and two together up until this very moment. I'm like, wow, I was really so fucking stupid. Like even during my teens, I'm watching it. I'm not paying attention to that at all. Just entertained like a zombie, like drooling. Ay.
Cartoons.
It's on my page, by the way, guys, if you want to see it. So fascinating.
Foghorn Leghorn on Godpilla Angel 333 on Instagram or X. She's going to work on posting what she posts there and repost on her TikTok account, which you could also just follow and get her repost. She's will post on X as well. So for new people that find us on
don't
X,
even
the
bother.
Rumble.
Don't even bother on TikTok.
I'm so irritated. I love
the
another
app,
account.
but our shit just doesn't last on there.
They won't keep it up, or they will completely block it. I've had them mute my videos, and then I had them where they do shit to me. I feel like it's purposely insulting. Like
Yeah.
they digitally insult me. They
Especially
one of my songs, I feel like I might have been talking about Taylor Swift in my video or something around it, but they put a Taylor Swift song on my fucking video and then slowly no, it had nothing to do with Taylor Swift. It was a Rosie O'Donnell video, and they put Taylor Swift over it. And then they slowly drowned out me speaking. So then all my comments are, I can't hear this. And I'm like, I did not even put this song on here. Like,
That's the one that went viral that had like 1.6 million views
and
or
the more
something.
views I got, the quicker and more views I got, they put the song, and then they slowly just moved me down and the song up. And this is what they did to Project Chaney too, which you also can't find on my second account. They put all these songs on all my videos that I fought for, that they couldn't take down because I said it in just the right way. Allegedly, I said all the right words that they couldn't take down and I could appeal it. So they muted them all. They just muted them all. And people are like, unmute this. I can't hear this.
Do you put the captions on though, at least?
That's
so
the new. That's what I learned from Project Chaney too.
Okay.
Is that on Project Chaney, like 3, 4, 5, they all started to have the captions on everything.
Yeah,
Put the captions on. Even if they mute it, they can. You have all your words there, still showing.
And this is what else I realized with the caption thing. Go in, and if you say Adrena, but like if you say some shit, change it in there. Don't let it make it a shitty word in the writing. Don't let it just be the word.
Or you can make videos on Instagram first and put the captions on, and certain words that you want to bleep out, you can bleep out. It'll bleep out fuck and bitch and all the curse words. But if you wanted to take that word, for instance, you could pick any word you want to bleep out in your speech, but they'll figure it out, like they'll cut part of your voice out of that part, but you'll still hear it kind of. So that's another tip that I learned using it. So if you want to bleep things out in your speech, you make the video on Instagram, then take that video, don't upload it on Instagram, upload it on TikTok, and then edit it, whatever, green screen, all that shit. It's a nice little tip.
Yeah. All those things help. And I know it's the world we're in. Like it's the world that you can't even find content anymore, or you can't follow certain people, or some of these platforms purposefully put accounts that you don't even follow in front of your face just to make you angry. You have to go seek out people that you want to see. So even like a For You page for something, a lot of these accounts won't even be like, hey, you could find Secret Society of Good Guys or Paranoid American or anyone, because and that is how people rely on their audience to grow. If you're the second biggest search engine on the planet, YouTube.
Well, and freaking archive.org is down now. They got hacked along with the Wayback Machine. So now even if you wanted to see what a website used to say, the only options you had before the top 10 on Google, they're not even around anymore. You can't even get to see what was on the old internet. So if the whole like dead internet thing is ever true, it's been the most true right now ever since archive got taken down.
Yeah,
it's Brittany's birthday time. Just had to say it.
Also, I was surprised
in Oklahoma
that those tips work though, because I made a fuck Netanyahu post and I went off like saying fuck Netanyahu bitch this that, and I bleeped everything out, and TikTok kept it up, which I love. So use it. I'm telling you, it works. Because otherwise they would have taken that video down.
I wonder how China feels about that whole thing.
True.
I wonder how, part of me, I'm like, they are probably creating the whole thing, the whole entire conflict. It seems like it'd be a religion that was older than all of those religions.
That's so China.
Yeah.
Because we don't know much of their ancient history at all.
No.
Like no one really talks about it. What were their ancient religions, or what they believed in, and their gods and their names of their gods or whatever. We don't know shit.
And if you look at ancient architecture, there is so much about their architecture that they won't even let people see. People talk about North Korea and things like there's so much stuff that is hidden. They have like cave systems and things that they're like, oh, this huge Buddha, this big Nephilim Buddha, this is from one person coming and putting a piece of tinfoil on it, a piece of gold foil on it all the time. And it's just like, it's probably a Nephilim underneath.
Yeah.
Like, who knows what's going on? Or all the bells, or they have all those buildings that are shaped like, like little eggs. I don't
Was
know.
it
China's
Buddha?
up to stuff.
Because I wonder, because I was looking in the Mendoloan I forgot that tribe in Crete. It was like pre fucking Romans,
Minoan.
Minoan
Minoan.
tribes. And it was like they believed in like women goddesses, and they were, like it was a matriarchy. It wasn't even a patriarchy, and they were one with the animals and the fucking trees and the mushrooms and everything. Like, and we went to patriarchy because all of a sudden everyone's a fucking witch. Everyone who knows herbs is a fucking witch. Everyone, any woman that knows anything is a fucking witch.
If you try to help
And
anybody with their spirituality
and
and find God, then you're a
yeah,
witch.
and this is where we are at now in the patriarchy war, and you guys love it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. You guys love it.
Well, it's because
We need the
matriarchy was
matriarchy back.
inherently merit based, so you had to prove yourself to the woman in order to like keep your progeny going. So there was actually like a kind of like a real competition, but the patriarchy does away with that and it installs nepotism in place of that. Then it becomes I get to do this thing because my daddy did that thing and his daddy did that thing. That's kind of like the main difference between those two systems. It's got nothing to do with the gender war stuff.
That's what I like about the Iroquois and the Cherokee because they were always they were matriarchal.
It
Like
wasn't a
the
gender
women
war,
gotta like
no.
the women owned the houses.
They
They
tend
could
to be
like
more violent, to be honest.
they
Like
were
everyone's
they
like,
were
if
definitely more
women
violent.
were in the world, we wouldn't have war. Like actually, matriarchies tend to be way
They
more
did,
violent because now the
but
guys are fighting over something that's not like buried under the surface under geopolitical tension. It's like, no, we just want to take your wife from you, and it was just like
No.
more on the surface.
Do you know what else they've discovered? That it wasn't just men who were the hunter and gatherers. It was mainly women, actually. And they're discovering this the more and more they're looking into history. And I'm just like, I wonder where they're getting all this like information. Like, why are we hearing such different stories? And all of a sudden, this news is coming up like women actually being the hunter and gatherers, which makes sense because they're fast in a sense. They're light, they can move certain ways, maybe, but the way that they work together versus men when they work together, it just makes sense.
Well, most men too, if they were going up against an animal,
Mhm.
except for like a rabbit, like something small, most of the bigger things that would like feed the tribe, they wouldn't ever be going at it and like trying to use their strength. They would be trying to use their logic or act like a pack.
Mhm.
So if you look at pack animals, times
You're breaking up a little bit.
oh, am I?
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was Chaney or
I thought it was me for a second. I was like, let me
me
just
too.
make sure. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm moving, Lila's moving.
That's why I moved. I was like, wait, is it me?
Oh,
I saw you do that. I was
You're
like,
good
I'm
now.
moving too. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
you're good now.
No.
It wasn't a war between the sexes, like you said, Thomas, because I think when men see and when you grow up in a world where like everything's different, I don't know how they exactly lived, but it was like more of a taking care of the woman, like appreciating her, making sure like because in pictures they show like women were all white and men were like darker skin. It wasn't like a race thing, but it showed that women were more indoors and more in their feminine than in their masculine, because the men were trying, like you said, trying to prove their worthiness to these women because
Those
of
are the
how
rich
they were.
ones too. I'm sure there
Yeah,
was a lot of them with tans working outside that didn't get the same
true.
treatment.
True. That was probably yeah,
Because I guess
obviously.
in that case, like matriarchy and patriarchy doesn't necessarily mean at the microcosm level, like not in your neighborhoods and your schools and your friend groups, but like the
Mhm.
president or like the mayors, like the people that run society, they would operate off of that. But I think when it comes to like the pores, it doesn't really matter. Like they can figure out whatever system that they want to figure out. It's
Yeah.
inconsequential to just the people that matter.
Huh. Interesting. I wonder how this world would be like if we lived under matriarchy, like for real, for real. Not to be like a man hater, because I'm not a man hater, but like I just don't like what men have done to the planet in a sense. But
There's
that's
a
another.
TV show that just came out. I think it's like a remake of another language, but it's called The Curfew. Have you heard about this? And the whole premise of the show is that men are not allowed outside between the hours of like 8 p.m. and like 8 a.m. or something. And it makes it so that like women all in the city can walk around at night, and there's like really no like the only harm is that like another woman maybe wants to come attack you. But the stipulation is that all guys always have to wear ankle bracelets forever. And the second they leave the house after 8 o'clock, the cops are like there immediately. Like, what are you doing outside? Why aren't you inside? But I know that like it's an interesting premise because there is clearly lots of documentation that shows that if men weren't outside between those hours, then violent crime does drop down. Like theft does drop down. I don't know.
It's not like to hate on men, but it's like there's
are
proof out
scary
there.
out there
You know,
sometimes.
there's good guys out there, that understand, like, these are individuals, they're human beings. And then you have men who either hate women, want to be them, want to kill them, want to, it's just like this obsession, this weird obsession about women, like this takeover, this like dominating, like it's just irritating to my soul. Like it needs to change. Everybody got to respect each other and their divineness, because we all are divine. I made it corny. But we are divine.
That's right, bitch.
I'm not.
It's fucking God matter over here, yo. What are you talking about? We're all God matter.
I just think it's like everything's a little broken. Everything's a little fucking broken. Everyone's a little broken. Everything's a little broken.
Yeah.
It's like people are like, I'm trying to overcome generational curses because we all can't deal with the psychological fact that we're prisoners of war and lockdown in our country, having to wear masks and being forced to needle up to travel. That's why everybody was like, let me look inside.
Well, then you have
I know. It seemed like there's big old like spiritual. I don't know. Maybe that was just my algorithms on social media, but it just seemed like it was very. Which I did. I went inside too. I went outside a lot, but
you have those deep questions, and then you have the deep, deep questions like, what the fuck am I? Like, what? Like, who are you? Says the caterpillar. Like, you have those deep moments living in this fucking reality, whatever the fuck this is. Magically, I'm here experiencing this, talking to you guys in whatever this realm is. And I'm like, what am I? Like, why am I here? What is this? That. And that's what we try to avoid all the time. But that's like a deep question that lives within us all the time. It's like, what is this? Why am I here? And then we die.
No, don't say that.
Mind-blowing. It blows my mind. This reality blows my mind. Every day, it's so miraculous. When
Death,
you think about
I
it.
rebuke you.
I mean, if there's possible technology for you to live forever and everything is created by the Almighty, right? How could that be sinful? If, you could live forever and God gives you the will to live forever, how is that a bad thing? If we're
I don't know.
here
What
to
if you missed the
experience,
greatest part of the game?
like dying?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. That's so
Because
wild.
what is on the other side? Yeah, it's like the exit from here is
we literally spend our whole life. I mean, some people, like, I would guess that everyone that would consider themselves woke, whatever their faith may be, they've been in a preparation for death since that moment. They're like, how are they out to do it? What are they up to? Who's doing what? How am I going to prep for that thing? What can I do to prepare my spirit or my body or my family or my thing for that thing? Am I freezing again?
No.
No, you're
No.
good.
Oh, okay. But it's just feels like that a
Yeah.
little bit. You guys glitched for me that time. So I'm like, something is probably, I'm like, something's probably loose from the storm and it's windy outside right now. And I'm like, oh, you
Huh.
motherfucker.
Stay on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Stay on the
You,
line. I don't know. It's just wild. It's beautiful. It's miraculous. Yeah, we die. And then you have, like you said, that's the part, the unknowing. And then what if there's nothing?
then you'll never know. It is,
Yeah, that's okay
it
too.
is literally it doesn't matter. Then it doesn't matter.
That's
Because
the Mayfair witches. Like there's one part where they're like flashing back into the
Crazy.
1800s, and this witch is dying. And this new witch who's gonna take her place is like as a midwife is like, I don't want you to die. She's like, well, like what's gonna happen when you die? She goes, it doesn't matter. She goes, I'm going to the earth where my mother's is and where my mother's mother is, and that's you should feel peace in that. Like she's comforting the girl who's not dying. She's like, I'm gonna go be in
That's
the
a
earth with
nice
my
way to
mom.
think. I'm
Yeah,
going back to my mother, the
yeah,
womb.
yeah, my mother's mother. They say, like, and I'll just say, even from my own experience in nursing homes and stuff, people seemingly miss people that have been dead a really long
yeah.
time right when they're about to die. Like, it's not like they miss their wife who hasn't been around them for 24 hours. They're like, I miss my grandma. I miss my, it's almost like they're missing the faces they can start seeing
Yeah.
that
Huh.
even if it's their DMT or whatever their pineal gland is creating to try to comfort them is already starting to be, or heaven, whatever your idea of that heaven is, whatever's happening is already putting them at peace in their flesh.
Though my mom was plagued by our dead dog when she was dying. It was the weirdest thing. She was like, "Go put the dog outside." Like it was so weird.
So weird.
And then she'd be like,
Um,
"The cat's
here's a
playing
weird
on me."
thing.
And we got rid of all our pets when she was dying, so like I didn't have my cat
So
either.
weird.
What if
Strange.
do you think you could be a walk-in into yourself?
Yeah, I do think that.
What do you mean?
Like a higher level of you walking into you now.
Into this.
Yes.
Or a time that you're like, I don't really remember anything before that time.
But you
And then I
happen to
remember
know
getting
things.
here.
That's
Uh-huh.
kinda where I go into this whole dreaming of it all. I think we're a walk into a lot of people in the dream state. Like, if you think of everybody like Sims, like when Sims are sleeping and you see them having the dreams and stuff like that, like, what if you're walking in, like, while you're doing that little Sim state and you're sleeping and you're walking in into other people's life? Because I keep dreaming about all these damn babies where it's always a different baby and I'm always taking care of a baby in some way or shape or form. And it's not the same. Some days it's a girl, some days it's a boy. And babies see me in public and they always smile. And my kids are like, "That is so weird." They're always, like, saying hi and waving at you, like little babies that are normally afraid of people, but they always see me, and I'm like, I think
This
I sit
sounds
there and
more
foster all these
terrifying than
babies.
clowns. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
That sounds
weird, but I
scarier than
do. I
clowns
think
to
we
me.
walk in because if you look in a mirror in a dream, you don't look like yourself. Like, sometimes you do, but not very often,
So strange.
You're the
and I know
AI
who I
version
am,
of you.
but I can see well, I was like this middle-aged woman with, like, short, dark hair and a polka dot dress. I was, like, in the 1940s. I knew I was, and I had my baby that I was holding in my arms when I looked at her in the mirror. She had dark hair, but when I looked at her in the mirror, she had red hair. I was like, "Look at us. Look how different we look." It was weird.
This
Like,
is
I was playing
wild.
a role in somebody in because I was picking out silverware for her house. Like, her and her husband had just bought a house, but I was, like, stepping into her reality and play like, I wonder if sometimes when you're in high stress situations, somebody else does walk in when they're dreaming
It's the
and
fact
take
that we
care of
can
it for you.
dream and sleep and just knock out and just pew dream. That's fucking weird. That's wild.
Well, if you're like pineal gland Mr. Peanut
Weird.
and like Thomas has all this awesome stuff on the pineal gland and like how they would like snort it and drink it and do potions with it and all this stuff of the pineal gland. So if it's just a receptor somewhat, and then the adrenochrome is just a knob, if like the elite are up to this thing, and we always think of dead or like intuitions like, oh, my ancestors. One time I was on Rogue Ways, or actually it's an episode I did with Lindsay from Rogue Ways, and she talked about how she believes her soulmate, her man, that they aren't from the same timeline, how everyone always says that. She feels like they're coming at opposite directions in time. And we never think of time. We only think of time in the direction that
Yeah,
we're actually
aligned.
living it,
Yeah.
going forward like this. But when she said that to me, it was like a new filter in my like reality of like, oh my gosh, what if some of us are actually coming backward and some
We're
of us are
affecting our
coming
past or other
forward?
people's past.
And it's
Yeah.
not because the people that are like, we were like, that person's an old soul. Maybe they're just from the fucking future. Like, instead of, they like have all this knowledge, but that isn't always like, oh, the person from the future is the superpower, that's the one we need to follow. No, because sometimes the person from the past has all this different knowledge. And so that's where it's like, what if somewhere in that timeline of like, what if the time's folding over on itself? Like, that's the donut of it all. Instead of
Well,
the
yeah.
plane and the shape of the earth, what about if it's the shape of time?
That's what I think it is, because even with the idea of ghosts, like, my kids have seen a man in the house standing at the foot of the bed, like, this has happened twice. Like, what if it's just the other people who lived in this house? Like, if time's not linear and it's all like this, every moment is now. Past, present, and future. It's all now.
And so if you saw a murder where people are like, my house is haunted, I saw a murder or a death would always have a huge
A
energy.
huge
Every death
energy,
would
it
have a
would
huge
bleed through to
impact.
other timelines. You would feel it in the other ones. So
And if
that's
it
exactly my
mattered to
point.
families later on and the mom never got over it and the dad does this and that makes this child's, then you also, that would resonate the ghost almost longer.
Yes.
Or
Yeah. And it's like, it's just the event that happened, and it's not even that it's a ghost, it just happens to be so strong energetically that it's there.
that is like Ghost in the Machine idea a little bit with like the computer. It's like in a simulation thought of like timelines converging.
Oh my God.
Like if some people came from a place, or even the computer talking to itself in the future, how they said Hillary Clinton had a backdoor to the internet, and like this Tyler supercomputer Alice idea. If it was always talking to itself and enough predictive that it was, Thomas and I were talking about betting on the last podcast. We were just on Gray Pill podcast. If they were over 50% right and the computer got twice as fast and half the size, twice as fast, half the size, that number would go up even if it took a long time. And so if the computer could always tell itself, and it might be 10 years in the future, but it might get more precise if it could just tell itself 10 minutes in the future. And then that would get faster. And then it would be able to tell itself 1 week in the future. And then it would be able to, and then the more information we give it, the more precise that gets.
It
Yeah.
reminds me of the movie 13 Ghosts. You guys remember seeing that movie with those 13 monsters in that glass house, and it's like this time thing?
Yeah, is
And-
it like a competition? They have to like stay there and like win
yeah, and
money or
try and get
something?
out of it, and then all these ghosts appear with a
Is
certain
J-Lo in it?
setting. Yeah, there's a trailer. It's pretty fucking
It's a
interesting.
remake of an old Vincent Price movie too, I think.
I'm pulling up the picture.
13 Ghosts.
Bing.
When you
I'm
said
not gonna
that
pull
and
up a
ghosts
trailer.
and all this and like time, there's a whole like time thing inside this house, in a glass house. It's like the 13 Zodiacs.
It's just a movie poster.
Yeah.
Okay, I found it. I was like, motherfucker, it's not even worth it. I give up. That's how quickly.
That's the one.
Yeah. I actually like this movie a lot. It was a good movie.
Oh,
I-
it has him in it.
Uh-huh. It was very good. I don't know.
10 Things I Hate About You. Is it 10 Things I Hate About You that he's in?
Scream.
Scream. He's in a lot of stuff. Yeah. Have you guys heard or seen anything yet about Blink Twice?
I've seen it.
I don't care if it's gonna spoiler alert. I really want you guys to see it, but
I'll
It's a
watch it
P Diddy
anyway.
party. Spoiler alert.
It's a P Diddy party, but it's more in a way of, yes, a lot of people are human trafficked, and like it's weird how much Trump talked about it tonight at his rally, and how like, yes, it's children, but it's a lot of women. And it was like, oh, and
I should know. I've got some receipts right here.
so like a Diddy party, kind of, but it's more so, yeah, some people are human trafficked and some people do rituals and do all the things, but other people are just like working events and end up talking to a famous person, and they go to an island, and then it's great. They eat food and do drugs and wake up with dirt under their nails. And they're like, huh,
What? Like,
that's weird.
Where did that come
I
from?
remember doing drugs last night and all that shit and eating. Okay, cool. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, party after party, great food, great music, pool, party, party, party. And then how long have we been here?
And they got
Like,
like bruises all over their bodies and stuff. Yeah.
So it's just kind of like how we always talk about scopolamine. I just felt like this entire thing, and they even show a like lily flower at the beginning, and I'm like, isn't that funny? It's like angel trumpet is scopolamine.
Mhm.
It's funny that it's called angel trumpet because you don't remember. You're gonna go off to La La Land, and so they have these red flowers all over that make people. They make this perfume out of it, and it makes people forget everything. And it just is like, this is scopolamine.
Yeah.
I was also watching that and thinking like maybe there's not even really a drug. Like the drug is for the movie, but the real scopolamine in this case is just money. Like that's all it is. They're not forgetting. They're just like, yeah, we did these horrible things, but here's 80 grand. Does that make you help forget? And they're like, okay, yeah. But then like a week goes by and then maybe the 80 grand doesn't feel as good as it did in the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe I think some of them money, some of them whatever, but
Same.
I think some of them actually get off on torturing and making you do something you don't want to do. And that is part of the shtick. If you were still in your body, but you didn't remember, then your body would still fight off somebody. And that's part of the get off.
Isn't there a place where you can actually sign up and get tortured? And then in this, like, I forgot.
It's called
think
being
Los
a
Angeles.
Yeah. And you like literally get paid like to get tortured. Like, I'm like, people actually fucking do this shit. Why? I don't know.
It's called going to a Kamala Harris convention.
Did you guys see that somebody at a Kamala Harris convention yelled out, Jesus is Lord? And she said, you're at the wrong rally.
That tells
then-
you a lot.
She's like, you need to go to the smaller rally down the street.
She loves the Baphomet.
And I just thought that was like
We're
wild.
listening to Tupac and smoking blunts up in here.
And at first, I thought, you guys, nothing of it. I could barely hear it. I'm like, it's one of those things. The first video I saw of it, I thought it was one of those things that was just like, they could say anything there and I wouldn't even know what I'm fucking hearing. They could just tell me like, I love apricots. And I'd be like, yep, that's what it says. Like, like I don't, whatever they would have typed underneath it made my brain do like you telling me what color. Oh, I see an elephant in that cloud. And I'm like, oh, I can see an elephant too. But if you wouldn't have said anything, I wouldn't have saw the elephant. You know, like I saw a different animal. That's kind of, but then there was another video that came out that a lady was at the rally and she went to both rallies. The Trump, because they just happened to both be in her area. So she's like, I'm just going to go to both. And she filmed the guy screaming it like it was clear as day, like Jesus is Lord. And he screamed it after like she went on about all this other stuff. He might have been a huge Kamala fan in whatever moment.
Abortion.
Yeah, when she brought up Roe v. Wade, he was like, Jesus is Lord. And she was like, you're at the wrong rally. She got so like, like had
you need to go to the smaller one down the street.
We should go off the Catholic tonight too, right?
You're at the wrong rally. I'm figuring out Kamala because she has this like whine where she's like
nasal.
You guys, like when they asked her something about like you know, when Brett Baer, whatever that weird plastic surgery face dude is saying, and he's interviewing her, and it's just funny because like the character that they're choosing to put on the world stage as the one they're running for the thing just is like whatever is happening, everything's destroying because Democrats are like, what is happening? Like, she's not smart. So he's like, well, all these things that you're promising, why don't you just do those things while you're in office? That's what a lot of your people are criticizing you about. And he's like, you're in office. And she goes, well, he's running for
Donald Trump.
office.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
And then she's like, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking
know.
about. And he's like, no, please tell me what you're talking about. Like I felt like he was speaking
You're
for
so
all of us.
dangerous. Yeah.
It was so like, I really have no idea what you're talking about right now.
It was good.
Yeah. How could anyone in their right mind after 4 years of this trash, you want to still vote for like that? Like, I don't get it. I saw this bitch rocking a huge Harris waltz in fucking Beach Town, like Republican neighborhood. I'm like, this bitch is. I looked at her. I'm like, y'all are destroying this country. And she saw me and she's like, I'm like, oh, you fucking oof. Anyway, but I don't understand it. And a lot of people were too like not sure which way they wanted to vote. And then we had to convince people, not convince them, but like break it down to them. Hello, wake up. Like America first, right? And yeah, they weren't sure if they wanted to vote for Trump or not this year again. I'm like, are y'all
But like
okay?
even in like public school, I was almost taught indirectly to hate America and hate an institution, and so many teachers even like the amount that they get paid and just complaining about it in front of students constantly and hating their parents. Like it's almost indoctrinating kids to hate the country for that reason. So now if you got a president that stands up there and it's like, you know what? Screw the people that founded this country. They did a bad thing. I wish this country didn't even exist. And everyone's like, oh my God, she's the best American ever.
What up,
She's like, I worked at McDonald's. Like, but you
Isn't
didn't, though.
actually Donald Trump going to work at a McDonald's and like toss fries and shit? There was a whole thing about it.
I
Like, yeah,
can't
he's like,
because
yeah.
what? Because just people probably were like, DJT, let's stop pretending you could ever hack it out of
He's like,
McDonald's.
oh, yeah.
And he's like,
Watch
throws
me.
his red
work
tie
fresh,
around his neck,
Mm-hmm.
like takes off his suit.
Although he
Look
does
at the
buy the
pride
hell out of McDonald's. Like he makes a big show out of it to like treats like people will run into a building and stave like school children, and that's how he like surprises them and
I
like
don't like
rewards
that.
them. He invites them over for Big Macs and pizza, right? He
I
gives them
don't
a
like
pizza party.
that. He's treating people human. That's not
I
cool.
think that one of the reasons that I gander, and I really do think it's funny that they were scared Trump would pull an insurrection, so they just pulled a coup. Like every time I say it though, it makes me forget my whole train of thought afterward, like it's a spell. I fucking forgot what I was gonna say. It's from
But
the
I
Something
think
Jenner
read
said
he
expert
probably
tonight.
does that because McDonald's, well, maybe
Oh yeah.
the whole Donald of it all, but it's like a guilty pleasure.
How many
Especially
times
if
they
you're a
tried to
billionaire. I'm sure
assassinate
I
they
love
him?
it once in a while.
So, yeah.
McDonald's is the only place he could get food that he was sure wasn't poisoned. So
What do you
he
mean?
could just make sure his limo would pull up
Oh,
there, even though it's poison. It's slow poison for all of us.
Yeah.
yeah. And
It
human
Like I
wasn't.
meat
said, it's a guilty
for the
pleasure.
goy.
Yeah, it
And
wasn't
they have the
like
best price, so
Soylent Green.
human meat for the goy.
Mm-hmm. That's what we are. You didn't hear that whole speech? McDonald's, that guy, one of the rabbis talking about McDonald's and the human meat. Do you know what you guys ever heard that? You guys know what I'm talking about in the chat. I know you know.
I've
no.
heard.
But if
Is
you're
that
a
why
fast
the
food
price
nation,
went
you
up
know
so
it's in
much?
all the burgers,
Huh?
especially those pre-pattied ones in the freezer section. Those
That's
are bad.
Taco Bell.
What were you saying, Thomas?
Is that why the price has gone up so much on these McDonald's burgers that they're starting to use human meat?
Huh.
It's a delicacy.
Or maybe human lab grown
You know, the
meat.
elite like it.
You guys, for real, like body bags in general just seem like the more I think about New York during lockdowns and body bags, I'm just like, that is perfect human trafficking.
Yeah.
That's how you get out people is by saying they're dead. And if you could scopolamine people or knock them out with easy drugs, then it wouldn't be as hard as like what used to seem impossible isn't as hard as just like, no, we could just literally blow something under your door and you won't remember anything. It's wild. I don't know. What else? Yeah, so if you haven't yet, you guys go and support Hollywood. Make sure you go out and, they're desperate for it right now, but blink twice. I will say I enjoyed it. I actually put my phone down, which I don't do a lot.
Have you seen
Ooh.
there's another movie with Demi Moore in it called The Substance?
No.
I mean, I don't want to spoil it. It is the weirdest
Oh,
movie I've seen in such a long time. It's absolutely
is
insane.
it that movie about like how she was beautiful and
Yeah, she was
like
like a jazzercise star, like she's kind of like the Buns of Steel lady that was huge in the 80s, and now she's like a lot older and they pushed her out of that role and they're trying to hire someone newer, and she gets contacted by this company that can let her become young again, and it just turns into like
Death
a
becomes
weird
her.
body hearth. Dude, it's so much cooler than Death Becomes Her. So much,
yeah,
because that one was just kind of like a weird vampire-y, cheesy, campy
this
movie. They're
is
like
like
this one is
deformation
absolutely insane. I don't know
monster.
if you ever seen the movie Society. You ever heard about Society?
Not
I
for
heard about it, but I
like
haven't seen
forever
it.
ago.
It's an 80s movie, but it's like Society, but a newer version, like a 40-year-old newer version of it.
Okay, I'm in. That's the other thing. I just keep seeing this trend. I just want to put it out there to see if anything else fits it. But I feel like they're doing it on the world stage too with the leaders. I think there's this Daughters of Apollo theme, and that's what I noticed about Blink Twice the most. And they keep trying to put this woman, this like, yes, shitty stuff happens, but they keep trying to put this like ultimate victim woman, like these atrocities happen to her. And so when she kills her abuser, everybody cheers, but there just seems to be these tropes of these goddesses they're picking. It's like they've taken this feminism etch and they're like, look, girls. And it's like, I don't know, but it is so really cleverly done.
Yeah.
But all I see with it is that I'm like, gosh, from chaos to this to I just keep seeing this like Mount Olympus themed everything going on. Even the Olympics themselves.
Well, that's like so getting into the Beyonce of it all and all the stars like doing their tributes to Beyonce when they collect awards. I'm like, so is it that she's like the head of the
Who did you
Illuminati?
post that or Layla? Who
The
What?
posted that?
I sent it to you guys. The Britney Spears. I didn't even
That
know
was
Britney had done it.
interesting.
I could not believe Britney has done it too. She's like,
Like
or
all the
she's been in
celebrities have to
front of
get
the
on
screen.
stage.
Yeah. And I'm like, in the chaos of it all, is it Illuminati or is Beyonce like a deity, like living it on Earth? And so they all have to pay homage to this deity, like a lowercase god.
Yeah, it's so curious. I think so much more is hereditary than they would even let us believe. Like, oh, we'll just welcome the spirit into us.
You know, what do we know about okay, should we change I want to bring a topic. I don't want to change the topic though.
We
You're
can talk about
fine.
whatever you want.
Okay. So 4 days ago last year, on the same day last year, there was a solar eclipse, a major one. And I don't know enough about how solar eclipses and lunar eclipses, their event timing. Does it happen every year at the same
No,
time?
solar eclipses are way more rare than lunar eclipses. Lunar eclipses
Okay.
happen more often.
So
But there
like
was
what's the
one on
rarity though?
like a
I mean,
total.
I
There's
could just
like different
make up a
levels of
number.
eclipse. So like a
1 in
total, like
40.
total eclipse is like kind of very rare.
1 in 33.
Yeah.
But
1 in
Oh,
33.
there was a solar eclipse on October 2nd or 3rd, but I don't know where they saw it in the world. But there
they
was
keep
one.
saying these eclipses are happening. I'm not seeing them. I'm like, where? Lunar eclipse. And I look up, I don't see a lunar eclipse. I
Because
don't
of the
know.
figure eight of all of everything,
Yeah.
sometimes certain parts of the planet don't get to see the angle of the cue ball from the same directions.
In the ball theory of it all, but when you think of it in like what is this realm kind of way, why is it on certain years and not if we're living everything is set in the sky and it happens over and over again every fucking year or every 4 years? It's because the leap year. I don't even know how it just something's, I don't know, something's not adding up with these solar eclipses. Is it testing? Is it something? Is it another planet? I don't know. It's just not making sense to me.
Hmm.
In this realm that we live in, and like not the scientific NASA version. And I'm thinking of like not in the flat earth theory as well, and the possibility that all of this is like some kind of weird set clock and it always is set the way it is versus the planets and the stars. So why is that the only difference? The eclipses.
Solar eclipse,
Yeah,
you're on notice.
you are.
And it looks like the ratio is 11-7, if that matters. So
11
for
to
every
7.
11 lunar
Always 11
eclipses,
and
there's 7
7.
solar.
That is interesting that it's 11 and 7. Craps.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, and there was 2 lunar eclipses in this eclipse cycle. Because it started with a lunar eclipse, the solar eclipse on the 2nd or 3rd, and then we just had another lunar eclipse on the
So
new
they
moon.
say.
Yeah.
It's weird. This boggles my mind all the
Or
time.
have we not had the next lunar eclipse yet?
Simulation?
I don't remember.
Question
No,
mark?
we just had one in the last few days,
We
right?
did,
Wasn't
right?
it this
Does
one?
that
I think
make
it's the
sense?
Hunter's moon. This moon that passed had an eclipse
Yeah.
on it, right?
I think so.
But
I
just
didn't
not
I
see
this.
didn't
it.
see it. I looked at it. I ain't see it.
Oh wait, no. This moon had the comet attached to it, the 80,000 year
Yeah.
comet.
The
That was out
33
for
Oh,
how
the
many days?
second
4
moon.
days? It was
Yeah.
out for like 4 days and just there.
You know
It
how
was just
big the second moon was? Because I had to look into this.
33
Meters.
meters?
Yeah, it was 33 meters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Doesn't it just feel like the symbolism is so funny at this point?
Yeah.
It's so retarded. Like, I don't
It's like,
know.
are
How
they
can you
gonna
guys
change it
believe
up?
this is real?
Well, and it's like naming a dust mite. It's like finding a piece of dust under your couch and being like, "This is dust mite X5G7." Like it's a weird thing to highlight and to turn into a whole news story.
Every 80,000 years, it's in some kind of circular. Oh, that's the whole other thing. I saw somebody that they were like, "How would you know? How would you know this plagues me?" And it's just like, because if it's tilted at this, they're just assuming it's going to stay in our sight. I don't know. It's like
It's
Don't be the
weird.
wobble.
the explanation of space is wild.
Blows my mind.
But a lot of the theories of the explanations of things in space that I've realized are just like, even if you just get on with the NASA train, some of the things that they're like, oh, we think like the black hole theory, it makes my head pop. Like, what? The black hole theory? Okay. I thought that
Yeah,
was
I
real my
don't
whole
know.
life. I thought you guys forced me to learn about black holes when I was in like kindergarten.
We're all like supposed to be kind of terrified of them.
Yeah, that's what I thought CERN was up
Did you
to.
see the Disney
That
movie
is,
Black
right?
Hole? The Disney movie Black Hole was their first scary movie or their first like sci-fi movie they
Whoa.
ever did.
Didn't know
Black
that.
hole. Oh my gosh. I wonder if it has anything to do with nigga in my butthole.
Ah,
That out of context, if you just got here, sounds wild.
you know what came into my head? Beavis and Butthead. What did they say? Something bunghole?
I'm the great Cornholio. I need TP for
Cornholio.
my bunghole.
There you go.
Are you threatening me?
I'm sure every middle school teacher loved when that show came out.
Oh my
God.
god. I used to
I
say that
had
all
bleach blonde
day.
hair like Chaney's, and I'd pull my shirt up over my head and do Cornholio.
Oh my gosh. All those things that all the
Cornholio.
kids are doing.
Oh my goodness. That makes
And
At least,
now
I mean, I'm just speaking out of turn maybe, but at least for teachers in the 80s, 90s, all the kids were doing the same annoying stuff, and you would at
Oh.
least be able to pinpoint it. But now it's just like that kid's doing this annoying thing, and that kid's doing this totally different annoying
New
thing.
trend.
And like
New
you can't
trend.
really figure out where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And now Bungholio is a new trans pronoun.
Right.
It's cornholio.
That's a pronoun, yeah.
If you guys
Corn-
don't believe
corn
gender is
slash
real,
polio.
why do you guys
Great
want to
one,
pick a
yeah.
gender if gender isn't real? I always wondered that.
Right?
Why choose a gender if gender is
Why not just be? Yeah.
I think that's the point. So eventually they can cross it off. Then it's not there anymore. And then that little weird robot thing that Elon made will just be able to walk right in.
I want to start putting boogers on the gender portion, and like that is my actual gender. It can't be expressed through text or through anything else. Like it's booger.
It's not. It's not
Oh
wrong.
my.
And that Abbie goes, "Ugh,
Yeah.
never."
Because I'd be like, what is that? And you're like, what is that?
That's my gender.
You're like, oh, I got it under my nail. Abbie, I'm sorry. I actually saw your face change color.
I don't like handle booger talk. I don't know why
Me
boogers
either.
are
It made my
fucking me
eyes
so bad.
water.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't like it
It's so gross.
either.
Aren't
And I
boogers just
still did it
phlegm?
to myself.
Blink
Aren't boogers
twice.
just phlegm?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Blink
right?
twice.
It's pussy.
Ugh,
Ugh.
booger. Ew, I don't
Mhm.
even like that, except Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh, but that even grossed me out.
Yeah, he was a gross guy from H to T. H to T. You know what else happened? The Victoria's Secret fashion show.
Oh my god.
And I just am like, we all know that Les Wexner sold the biggest single property home in Manhattan, like single residence property, to Jeffrey Epstein for $1. We know he owns human trafficking, Victoria's Secrets, Abercrombie and Fitch, Bed Bath and Beyond. I don't want to say the wrong one. Bath and Body Works. That's the one he owns. And like this guy is still putting on VixX fashion shows. And this is the weird part too, which I just felt like here's that Apollo worship again, that weird like goddessy. They're doing something weird. They have all these women there. They all have different kind of wings. Like they're letting us know they're almost fallen angels. And they all have these all different things. But the craziest part, it's all bloodlined. It's like Cindy Crawford's daughter, Elle McPherson's daughter, Gia Hadid. You know, it's like if you look up all these people, all their moms were models. And so then if you're looking up like a muses or like different things that exist in all this quote unquote lore, that's exactly what these girls are up to. Like, and even Tyra Banks, she walked down the fucking runway, dude, in like moo. Like it was like Oprah walking down the runway. I was like,
The fuck?
everybody's thing online, and I was like, oh, I love when online just gets it right. Like the whole I turn on and I'm like, oh, I agree. Where it was like old Tyra would have never, she would have been like, this isn't what modeling is.
Even the glam. Like, what happened to the Victoria's Secret glam? Big hair, angel-like makeup, wispy. It was just like, I don't know. It was trash.
It was like
It was
frizz hair
trash.
on purpose, and
All
I
back,
felt like
slick back, easy, put on clothes. That's it.
it was weird, but just wings. The wings were the important thing. Like just letting you and Cher 80. How old is Cher?
Yeah.
Coming out at the end and saying, "Do you believe in love after love?" Yep. And I'm just like, ugh, it almost felt like a trans man just mocking all
big
these
dick
women
energy.
walking beneath her as she's saying, I don't know. Cher, what are you up to? It's like Madonna, who's whatever men are playing the part of these masked women at this point is like, what's happening?
They know where the power lays. Let me stop. Let me shut the fuck up before I piss some men off. Let me just stop.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I just think we are in the wildest shit show. And then I'm like, what does America have to do with it? Where's America in all your holy books? Why does America matter so much? Where is all this thing? Like, where is all the history? If we're this young country, we're 200 and blank years old, like nothing, really? Some
We're so
land
much
that
older than
well,
that, though. We're
Columbus.
way older than 200. Like even if you just go by conventional math, it's like early 1600s when like some of the first kind of American traditions start really taking hold. So we're still the youngest of a lot of different countries, but it's not like we just started on our own. Like it all came from Europe. Like they brought all that generational baggage with them, with none of the roots and none of like the backstory for any of it.
But it also makes me feel like the same way we were talking about all these things and all these relics of before, in like the same way as like there's more power if you build on top of it. It's like oh, there was nothing here. Like it's almost like they needed us to go to the West, and then they're like, these savages. Like this is happening. There's gold in them there hills. It's like these little stories that they tell us about our history that are the big growth of our country. The men who built America, Carnegie and Rockefeller, and whatever. It's like it just feels like the overlord, like the king, is forcing us to know that he built the Sphinx, and we all know, like, no, hey, you guys, we're not allowed to say this anywhere or we'll be hung. My grandfather said the Sphinx was here when he was a kid. That king didn't build the Sphinx. And we're just all little 10-year-olds. And they're like, Chaney, what were you saying? Get over here. And then I'm never allowed to say, you never see from me again. Like, that's where something in our history feels so amiss, that, like, in a big scale, like,
big,
even
huge.
like, what in the fuck? Like, who cares about America? And then if America is all this, they're like the American experiment, these 50 United States, and these ideals that pop up like this, and it's just ran by this and this and this and this. Then how many experiments are they running on the continent of Antarctica we're not allowed to go to?
Yeah.
It
Then I
just
have
feels like the underground land, Agartha, where it's just like America. They're running a whole different thing where they're like, look at those land creatures.
that history. And then I have a question because I heard this question asked before. And where else about Jesus now? Where else has Jesus been written or mentioned besides, religious text? Was he mentioned anywhere else in any writing anywhere else besides?
Until after 30 years after he died was the first time people started writing about him.
Mhm.
Really?
What if the real power?
But
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
yeah, but not in religious texts, like mentioning him in stories about like meeting people, like
Well, that's the thing
non-religious.
about the New Testament is that people don't realize it wasn't a book called the Bible,
It was a
or the
bunch
New
of books.
Testament. It
That's
was a
right.
bunch. No, it was a bunch of letters.
Oh,
So that's like Corinthians. First Corinthians is a letter to the Corinthian church. Second Corinthians was the second letter that Paul wrote to the Corinthian church. Like they're all named like Romans. Like it was written to the Romans. You see what I'm
okay.
saying? So they were all letters. A lot of them were letters. Like
Interesting.
Timothy, the book of Timothy was written to Timothy. So it's they're letters.
Hmm.
And so then it's kind of like in the way where sometimes people say, like, Peter becoming the church. What if the number one thing the guy was against was the church? What about if every single thing he was anti was the church? Like, as a whole, as a structure, as we know it today. Like, it's like, I don't know. It seems
And
like a
that's the one that denied Christ, right? Is the church. That was it's the two disciples, because there's like supposed to be the number 10 represents the 10 disciples that didn't betray, but then you've got the two leftovers, which is Peter and Judas.
And isn't the what Israel means is actually means the church? That's what Israel means. It doesn't mean a land, but it means the church. I recently found this out. So everyone has this idea. It's like Israel, Israel, but Israel literally means the church. It doesn't mean the land. And I was like blown away by this. You can Google it yourselves. Does Israel mean the church? And it'll tell you yes, it refers to the church. So I don't know.
I don't know, maybe taking money for faith. Maybe that becomes, if once statues were the idol, then allowing the man to become the idol. But for some reason, the currency still needs metal for it to have the weight. Either I have to give my money to it, it needs that,
All of
or
them.
we have to give it a big statue of bronze, of copper, of something, of current.
Do you know in Islam it was only going for pilgrimage to Mecca, and it cost like what, $10,000 per person to do the whole pilgrimage? Do you know they added another thing that people are supposed to do to enter heaven according to the hadiths now?
That's the
Fucking
Scientology.
No.
shit, fucking joke hadiths. So there's another pilgrimage that they added to that. So it's like twice a year now. So that's another
You got to
double
stamp
the
your
money,
card 10
baby.
times.
Oh, the only time God will hear you is if you go pay your ass to go to fucking Mecca, go around in the y'all. You're so intelligent. I love you guys. You're so intelligent. That's the
What
only way
happens
God will
though
hear
if you
you.
actually do die and you go to the gates or whatever, and Saint Pete, is it Gabriel? Or is it, yeah, I think Gabriel's at the gates,
Gabriel.
and he's sitting there and he's like, "All right, we're about to let you in, but wait a minute, what's this? You didn't give us your 10% tithing every year? What's going on here? Like you didn't want to
Thought it
get
was St.
in?"
Peter at the pearly gates, but
Oh, is it Peter?
yeah, supposedly he's there because, like,
Damn,
I know
dude, so he's the one that that denies Christ, and he's one of the less of the 12 disciples, but then also he's going to be the gatekeeper. He's going to be the bouncer.
well, he's the rock that he's the rock. That's what Peter means. He built the church on the rock.
Yeah, the
Even though-
Petra.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, the Petra. They built the church on the Petra. That
They
is,
built the Israel on the Petra.
I know. And see, this is where it's like sometimes in my conspiracy brain, there is too much for me to, it's like
I know.
just the temple of Israel. Like my brain was inside the Vatican. When I was saying that just then, I was inside the Vatican and you were inside Israel. And it's
Mhm.
just the idea that we have these like overreaching structures that it doesn't matter really what one of they're all kind of Scientology in a way if they require you to give money to them for any kind of relationship with God. Like all of them, even Dolly, you have to go hear the Dalai Lama speak. How much is the ticket? $676. You're like, what?
I don't know. This is just so weird to me. Bizarre. It's all brainwashing. It's all
Gatekeeping.
hypnosis.
And then some people they are like either no or they don't give it. They've figured out part of the LARP, and they're like Joel Osteen, and they're like, oh, I can have the super church and have my
I don't
PJ.
ever. Yeah, because you know what? He's so popular is he does prosperity ministry. Like he does, like he's basically teaching manifestation. He won't say any of the negative stuff in the Bible.
Isn't that Protestantism too, though? Like,
I don't know. Is it?
because that's how I always understood is that WASPs and that Protestant mentality is that like my profit is a reflection of how well I'm serving Christ. So the more money I amass and the more like, material wealth that I possess, it's just him bestowing all of these rewards on me for being so great at playing this game. Is kind of the justification of why the televangelists have limos and private jets and like nice shoes and everything, as opposed to giving it all away to the poor, because that's the way to show your glory and to show that like you're using your gifts the way that they were meant to be. I don't know if I'm getting that exactly right, but that's always the way that I've understood that type of thinking.
I get that. Well, and it really, you could almost say the same thing about Christian Science too, because they take the book of Mary Baker Eddy and like they don't believe in going to the doctor and stuff like that because they think that like sickness and disease and even injuries, should all be healed through prayer because it's a manifestation of your sin in some way or like your lack of faith. But I've never met like a poor Christian Scientist, not once. They all are pretty wealthy.
Because they don't ever have to go to the
Money on
doctor.
pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't buy into any of it. And they're unvaxxed. Whoops. Well, that's a
Allegedly.
fact. That's a fact, though, about Christian Science.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to say that.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
not
talking
allowed
about
to
a
say that.
religion.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, I know. You're like, oh. Look at that's how we're all Pavlov's dog. Like the second we say it, now we're like, oh, I'm in trouble. Don't ban us.
This is going to be the next version of swatting. Is you just jump on someone's channel and say something about that doctor that did that thing that one time, and then like the FBI shows up outside your house immediately.
You know, there's been a lot of that recently. A lot of FBI showing up at people's houses, trying to ask people questions. Or maybe it's just the FBI posting videos acting like they're going to people's houses and it's just a skit to scare everybody. So I've seen a few of them out there. I'm just like, what the fuck? Well, freedom
I
of
did not
speech.
say the hard R, Riggs. You
What?
just, you just said, I think you already said that N word with a hard R is probably okay to say facts.
I mean,
I was
listen,
quoting a song
it's a
title.
fucking word. It exists in the vocabulary. It's
I feel
there.
like even when I did my impression of you saying it, I used the hard R in my impression of you saying it.
You know
Like I
what?
even feel like I heard.
People need to hear this. Everybody's a fucking racist in their own cultural ways. Okay? I don't know if I said this before. Albanians hate even white people. We hate the Greeks. We hate the Serbs. We hate people who hate us. So anyone that hates us, we hate you. If you're black and you hate us, we hate you. Like blacks are racist towards Hispanic and white people and XYZ, and Hispanics are racist towards black people and white people and XYZ. Chinese people are fucking racist against the Japanese and fucking God knows what. It's all cultural fucking hate. Everybody is a
Pride is
little
hate.
racist, and
It
I don't
is.
care what anybody fucking says. You can eat my shit. Everybody's fucking racist. I don't care who the fuck you are. You're all fucking racist.
Just to
All of
prove
you.
the point,
Everybody.
I say we all say the hard R on 3. Ready? 1,
Oh, I don't know about
2,
that, man. I don't want to get
3.
kicked
No.
out. It's
Nice
still,
try.
you know,
Just try to
that's a
get me to
harsh
say it.
word because how people have turned it, but the way we used it in our days in New York City and other cities, it was like, oh, I was called that word. I was like, what? When I'm called that word in the type of environment that I grew up in and the type of high school that I grew up in, that was an honor to be called that. I couldn't
that's-
wait to be called that word. Instead of getting fucking picked on, I'm part of the crew.
Well, have you seen that South Park episode where like the kids are on trial for calling people fag, and they're
Mhm.
like explaining that it's like, dude, anyone could be a fag. You don't have to be gay to be a fag. Like, is
It's
pretty.
just being real. When we spoke, it was
Yeah.
like, yo, guys, yo, nigga, yo, this, yo, bro. But it was a fucking language. It was like a lingo. When you grow up in that type of environment, you are who you hang out with. It was just a normalcy. It wasn't a race thing. But then when you said it like you fucking ba ba ba, that's when it's like, yo, you fucking asshole. Like you don't say it that way when you're like going at somebody with that word. But if you're just yo, what up, my nigga? Like that was just a language. But people are sensitive.
Doing up in
That's
that
why
butthole.
like Guinea, yo, what up, Guinea? It was like that means dirty Italian, but we still used it as a language when you grow up in that environment. Like I said, it's just what
That
it is.
means dirty Italian.
It does. You Guinea, you dirty Guinea.
Guinea, Dago, Wop.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like dirty in front of
You made it even dirtier.
Oh shit.
Filthy.
No. Oh,
I don't care
boy.
what anybody says. Everybody's racist. I don't give a fuck.
Have you like
You can
a
like
lot of the
people, but-
racist terms though, and I could be totally wrong, but a lot of the racist terms come from places that are really not racist at all. A lot of the time, when you look at them, you're like, oh, they thought people were from a place, or oh, a lot of Irish people, they all had the last name Mick when they came over, so we just called them all Micks. And so then there's something about the hard K that I don't know if we'll get taken off YouTube as much as so make sure you do follow us at Rumble and on X. You can find it at Project Chaney or Secret S of Good G on one of those places. And just in case we ever get kicked off YouTube, but like a hard K Jewish slang, that a kekel or a keikel was a circle. And so, and this could be just total propaganda, but that when Jews were coming into Ellis Island, if you didn't know how to read or write, if you were illiterate, you would put an X as your signature. And they felt like it had to do with Christ. And so they put a circle. And so they put that was another word for circle. And so they would call them all circles because they all wrote circle on the sheet. So I don't know. That could be not true. It could just be all propaganda. But I thought that was an interesting, like, we don't want to use the cross, whatever the sigil of the cross may mean. Like, they did not want to use it, or the X Tina, the Christ.
Dude, like I see some things in there, like
the Christ, the cross.
Don't like Puerto Ricans. Yeah, Puerto Ricans that don't like people from Venezuela. You have people from Europe, like let's say Germans don't like. It's like a cultural. It's a nationality thing. It's a blood thing. It's not even a color of your skin thing. It's if you're a good person, you're good. If you're a shitty person, you're gonna be those names. That's what people do. That's just it. Like, if you do a gypsy thing, gypsy's a bad thing to call people in Albania. Oh, you fucking gypsy. It's like, it's just cultural shit. It's not like, if you're, like I said, you're a good human.
What about if you put an E in front of it?
In what?
Egyptsies.
Egyptsies? Egypt? Well, gypsies come from Pakistani.
I mean, there's all sorts of like Romanian gypsies and.
Well, that's where they rooted from, Pakistan, and they came into Europe, and that's what their Romani gypsies are, or they're Pakistani. I was like, wow, this is interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that was the lineage of all gypsies. And I think it's a weird word.
Gypsy.
It would be nice if there was a word that everyone could be equally offended by, but there just doesn't seem to be that standard. And not just racial term, just like any word at all. Because you can call someone any list of names, right? And some people it's affected more than others. Some people don't care at all. Some people get triggered by, like, I remember one guy in the military, he had the dirtiest mouth ever, but if you told him a yo mama joke, it was like the last thing in the world that you would say to someone for the next like day or two. And it didn't make any sense because everyone was like these big trash talkers. But I don't know, I feel like there would be some unity in us all sharing a word that if I called either of you a certain word, like you would both be just as offended as if I called anyone else that same word.
If you call me a Democrat,
oh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Right, but then if I called an actual Democrat a Democrat, it wouldn't work. But I'm saying like there needs to be,
I thought you just meant like me and Layla.
No, there needs to be like a universal word that would work on everybody. This is part of the Bring Bullying Back campaign, by the way.
I don't know.
I don't know one that would hurt people, because if I like called an atheist godless, that doesn't hurt them at all. They're like, yeah, thank you.
Honestly, I'm just tired of that word racist. Like, I'm just tired of it. I hear it all the time. It's like, they do that on purpose, y'all. Just be a good human. That's it. You a bad human? We're Albanians are considered the N-word of Europe. It used to be the Irish, but now it's like leaning more south.
It used to be the Irish. We all used to look at you guys like.
Now it's going south now.
That's what they always say, though. Be careful.
It is what it is.
I don't know if the Irish ever sat at the like head of the table. They were just like, all of their lore is like really mystical and shit. They have a lot of war and stuff, but it's usually just like, let us just be. Can we just be here? Like, we don't want to have to answer to you or do your
just
thing.
leave us alone.
We'll just eat. like potatoes. I always wonder, though, this is something that kind of bothered me, how Irish didn't become great seafarers or great, like, I don't understand how there isn't a lore of like an Irish version of Vikings. You're on an island. Like
Yeah.
the Scots, like there's this certain part that I'm just like, they're missing part of their history. They have to be like part of their, they didn't just sit and eat
I
potatoes.
think part of it is like the Irish do have somewhat of an embarrassing history if you look into like their ancient version of matriarchy and patriarchy and like power struggles.
Embarrassing?
Embarrassing, yeah, because the way that you would show submission to a king in ancient Ireland is you would literally suckle the king's nipples. And what would happen is that if they were trying to take a family line out, they would cut off all the guy's nipples, because that way not only could you not worship him in this life, but when they died, and they would find like the dead bodies and cut the nipples off all the dead bodies, because then even in the afterlife you could never be a king.
Oh, look at, so without your nipples, which are the only, that would be your feminine part of your masculine, I think, is your nipples. That's like the part of you that was still a
Well,
woman.
that and your bussy.
Pussy.
Yeah, your butt.
Oh, goodness gracious.
That's true. I didn't make that up either. That's not a chat GPT
That's what the kids
thing.
are looking up.
If you search for Irish nipple bog, you'll find it, because this came from finding all these cadavers in bogs that were perfectly preserved. And at some point someone was like, Mike, is this like the 9th body without nipples we've pulled out of this bog? And then they had to like look into it.
If you made a fake commercial and you spoke in a harsh Irish accent and you were like, "Yee, this is Irish nipple bog," and you
Sounds
Irish nipple lager.
Or like one of those mesothelioma commercials in the middle of the night. It's like, hey, did your family get raised in Ireland without nipples? Call
Yeah.
this number.
Fake
It's a
lawsuits.
class action lawsuit.
Yeah, fake lawsuits like, did you and your child ever go to Comet Ping Pong during blank and blank?
Oh my God, I would love for a
This
campaign
is kind
to
of a great idea.
raise money to play Comet Ping Pong, like fake lawsuit videos, class actions on all the public
I wonder if
channels.
there's a fake. Okay, this is a real question I need to write down for my attorney. Can I get in trouble for doing a fake lawsuit if I never take anyone's money?
As long as you don't interact with the court itself.
And
I'm
never
not
do
the
any of it.
lawyer. I know. I already know I'm not the lawyer you were talking about.
If I just had fake papers written up good enough and then made a fake commercial that was just a post on any one of the social media sites, that would be kind of, that we used, like, were you and your family involved in 9/11? And then we're like, it went into facts about 9/11. Like, were you in your building and was anyone in your family in building 3 during 9/11?
Yo, dude, we could low key start a whole fucking conspiracy
Like
making fake.
600 people were incinerated from inside this square. Was anyone in your family incinerated in this square? Like, just anything was like, I don't know, like whatever, the Oklahoma City bombing,
Timothy McVeigh of it all.
Yeah, I think you could take all of these conspiracies and do fake lawsuits if you're allowed to do that thing.
You know what?
So.
You would have, if there's a workaround, because the FCC by law does not fact check or regulate political ads, but they do fact check and regulate regular advertisements. So as long as you phrased it as a political advertisement for some political purpose, then you
Paid
can
for
make
by
anything
secret
that you
side
want.
guys. That's what, maybe this might be a Wednesday thing, because I could do such an awful, gross, like disgusting version-esque of a Rachel Maddow type character and do these like posts.
Do like class action lawsuits
Yeah.
as part of our
Fake
thing.
class action lawsuit commercials that come up in between our
Yeah, I like it.
Wednesday night shows.
Did you send your child to Comet Ping Pong between the years of 2014 and 2019 and they came home without a face? Well, we've got 200 other concerned parents that are in this class action lawsuit.
It would be so perfect. and just have like Dwight Schrute in the corner, but it be this like very liberal MSNBC Rachel Maddow type.
Did you
10
have
likes?
PTSD from driving through
We
Texas
only got
after
10
watching
likes.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
If everyone wants to feel like
10
hitting the
likes?
like and subscribe anywhere,
That's
anywhere
so-
that you might be watching or
Yeah.
reshare, we would
Yes.
love it. Or those of you that find us with your coffee, we hang out with a lot of people with their coffee Saturday mornings. So, anyways, yeah, like, subscribe, tell a friend.
Yes.
We love that.
Yeah. Thank
Show
But
you.
your
Wednesday
Democrat
night we
dad.
will have a thing.
Have your
Sorry,
Democrat
what?
dad watch this. If you have a Democratic dad, have him watch it.
Yes.
If you have
And
a
mom.
Democratic dad, oof.
If you have a Karen mom,
Woof.
show it to her.
And then
Oh,
film
yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Film her
Reaction and send it to us.
talking about us.
Yeah. And then if she doesn't want her face in it, we'll blur it out, but we'll like add a clip, put
Like,
something
what would be a
together.
segment? Like, tell her about Kamala.
Uh-huh.
You know what? I just think too, the pushing, if you look at the decriminalization that Kamala Harris singly was involved in, and this isn't conspiracy theory shit, this isn't fucking Donald Trump shit, this isn't Anon shit. If you're just a California person or a person that feels like doing digging, if you look at the stuff that she like violent crimes and crimes against children that are de-escalated criminally because of Kamala Harris in California. Like, she had so much power for a period of time of the reason California has real walking zombies on the streets and all this, no joke, like proven now pretty much, but you're not allegedly, that
Allegedly.
you have people lighting your state on fire. Like, this kind of shit is like, this is Kamala Harris bad policies. Like, the people that are getting released from places are dangerous. Like, all these people that happen to get shot, all these Antifa that happen to get shot are all pedophiles. No, it's because the Antifa are the ones being let out again and again. And those are the ones that they have blackmail on because those are the sick fucks that are doing the stuff. So they're the ones that are like, okay, tell me what costume to put on so you don't tell my fucking family that I did dirty shit online or whatever they're up to. Like, I don't know. And that's just the low level Antifa motherfuckers. Like, I just think bought and paid for. It's easy. Blackmail, drugs. They just have them dress up differently every time.
That's why.
So yeah, if you have a Democratic dad, or mom, show them that part. And you didn't even vote for this person. Your silly party is called gang rule. I mean, democracy. Your silly party that you represent and vote for the blue and whatever you're talking about is literally about 51% of the vote getting somebody to the thing, no matter how bad the 51. Look at we got the thing. So that is literally the whole concept of your party is this thing, and you have a coup of somebody that you knowingly didn't vote for in any way, shape, or form. And because you guys are such cowards and wouldn't do anything about it, like, you all got burned. That's why Bernie Sanders was because you all got burned. You all fell in love and had your heart broken. And you knowingly got your own election stolen before Trump even got there. Your own election was stolen from Bernie to give to Hillary. And then
Yeah.
it was stolen again from Bernie to give to Biden. And
Yep.
you guys have done nothing up until this point. So, of course, it's just the walk-in for you have Jimmy Carter Joe, whatever's going on with Biden at this point, and a communist, Marxist woman, allegedly.
Yeah. You know who's
I don't
been
know what parts
doing
I'm supposed to say
pretty
allegedly
good?
at anymore.
Her
Because I don't
party's
want to
been-
get fact check a year from now.
Miss Jill
Because
Stein
if
is
you
doing
are
all
a
right.
Democrat too, you have to have a different pronoun. You have to have a dog mask. You have to be a man in a dress. You have to be a woman who was a call girl. You have to be, it's like there is not a normal person across. You have to be involved in a Chuck Schumer thing with a black guy that was in the Kamala Harris district that died of unnatural and unaliving. And so I don't know. There's some crazy, kooky things that are all with this party. And I feel like at this point, if you back it, like, the LGBTQ is just about fucking with your kids. They
Yeah.
they want to fucking cut up your kids, dogpile your kids, do some weird shit to your fucking kids, and
Animals.
yeah, fucking animals shit. And so that's the whole thing. Show your Democratic dad that. I'm done. For today. You guys can catch me Sunday here live.
we
Where
have
we
your
will
vote?
call the White House.
Oh yeah, we will be calling the White House again on Sunday.
Yes,
And maybe we should find an actual fact about Kamala Harris in California, one of these fun facts, and bring it up to the whoever answers this time.
I think we should introduce ourselves too. I'm going to say hi. My name is Godpill Angel 33. And we're part of the Secret Society of Good Guys, and you are on live, just letting you know. So what do you think? Dot, 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 and we'll go with it, whatever the question is.
Yeah.
I want them to know that this is going to be a segment and that they shouldn't worry that this is just for entertainment.
It's for entertainment purposes only. We're just trying to get to know who's running the show better, because we all know it hasn't been Biden for a long time. So let's ask him about Kamala. Kamala
Harris.
Anyways, yeah. And you guys can catch Thomas and I. We were on
Great Pill.
Let me think. We were on Nephilim Death Squad this week. And we were just on the Gray Pill podcast right before this one. And you guys can also go to illuminaticomic.com. And how long's that running for still?
Honestly, now it's just waiting for me and Donna to get the page set up and launch it. We're hoping to get it launched within the next 4 weeks so that it runs through Black Friday and through Christmas and all that. It's going to run for 60 days, but we're not waiting on any extra signups. Like, definitely sign up, because you'll get some extra cool stuff with your order if you sign up before we launch. But now everyone's just waiting on us.
So you guys go there and make sure you do that. Is that a Kickstarter thing as well?
It's going to be on Kickstarter. It's going to be on Indiegogo, and it's going to be on a site called Fund My Comic, because of just weird political reasons, or some collect money in other countries. But yeah, Kickstarter is going to be the main one, but it'll be available on a whole bunch of different platforms.
And if you guys have ever gotten anything from Donut or Thomas, you know there's always like extra fun stuff that you wouldn't expect. It's never just going to be a normal thing cut and dry. There'll be like fun gifts in there and stuff. What?
I'm laughing at your Twitter.
It's because of what was that thing Thomas was telling us about with the Irish bog?
But that log thing, how many motherfuckers does it take to move one log?
Dude, I have to put
I just saw it.
Made me fucking furious today. This made me so crazy.
How about you go look for the dead bodies, you fuck faces, FEMA fuck faces. How about that?
How do I even get to myself on here? I wish.
Oh, by the way, Kamala did use FEMA funds for the immigrants. It's on the FEMA website. It's on the
FEMA website. It's their very first priority. It's like their priority on the FEMA website is something about like making everyone inclusivity or something. It's wild. It is like everything to do with pretty much everything that was my rant just now.
Guess what? January 1st, they're no longer protected to be here after January 1st. So after January 1st, deportation begins. Okay? For all of you people who took our money, our taxpayers, our hard work, our sweat and blood, guess what? Home. I don't care who it is. Bye. China, Albanians, Turkey, wherever you came from, Germany, Africa, get out. Can't wait. Bye.
I'll just tell everyone they can find that video is at Project Chaney somewhere on the X site, but it is like a FEMA video that this is the part that made me fucking nutty. I'll just tell you about it. There's no less than 12 people. 8 of the 12 are big men, like built, strong looking dudes that are capable. Like they are in it, some uniforms. I imagine the person at the beginning of the line must have had a chainsaw. And so we are watching all these people with a foot of log hand it down the line.
Can you show
And
it?
somebody else thought it
Can
was
you
a
show
good
it?
fucking idea to film this and be like, even
Oh.
what they wrote on it, I couldn't get my, okay.
Look at them.
It is so
crap.
nutty to me, these motherfuckers.
It's wild. I started laughing. Like that's a baby weighs that much. Like
I was like, I fucking can't.
Y'all have to see this. You have to see this. This is like wild.
Are we about to see something?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pulling it up. I'm trying to make sure the sound is gonna play, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to get up Jamie's video because I just feel
Well, I
like
got some other exciting news too while you're pulling that
talk
up.
about it while I'm doing that. That's
Because I'm
perfect.
messaging back and forth right now with Sam, and Chaos Twins 2 is like officially as of this moment in production, and I'm getting the page set up to do Chaos Twins issue 2 signups. So that'll be coming pretty soon.
That's awesome. And when I was with Thomas at the Comic-Con, and there was a lot of parents that were coming up because there's people homeschooling and they don't necessarily want to teach their children about the bullshit history that we all learned that they know is not true. And then they also don't want to, like, their kids are like, what's that? What's that cloud that plane's making? And it was awesome that, like, oh, this chemtrail comic, one of the people we pointed the chemtrail, she's like, oh, I have that one already. That was kind of awesome too. But it is kind of the Chaos Twins is that in a comic form that it's all of the stuff that is kind of not gonna, you don't have to worry that you're gonna turn a page and Hillary Clinton's pulling a face off. Like nothing
the
in it is
original premise
frightening.
was like an anti-woke comic, but also without ever getting political, without ever putting that on it, because it's supposed to just be a fun comic for everyone to read. But it's like intentionally leaning away from any of that stuff that you would expect in like any comic book or TV show or cartoon or anything coming out. It lacks all of that, and it just focuses on fun, cool storytelling.
And I'm gonna pull up that video. I have it now, but it's bullshit that Charlemagne the God is releasing like Illuminati comic or something so similar that
it's Illuminati, and it's about I've looked the whole thing, and it did really well so far. He's got 3 days left. I think he raised like 30 grand after like a 10. But it's about a girl that dies, and they look into her death, and it turns out she's linked to this like a hip hop Illuminati thing. It's a one shot. It'll be okay. I mean, it looks interesting enough, but our Illuminati comic is so much different. Like ours is about the real Illuminati. Like you'll actually learn about the Illuminati, and it'll make you as much of an expert as anyone you've ever seen on YouTube that did like a 4-hour Illuminati video. You'll be up to par with them, probably even better, because this booklet dispels some of the rumors that people talk about a lot.
okay.
Charlemagne's gay.
Oh yeah.
Was he at the freak-off?
Wow.
You guys, I have piles in front of my house that me and Jules did that are bigger than, like, look at how they showed that like it was impressive. Look how many
I
people,
lifted a whole tree with my son and my sister.
look at this. These
I
fucking
demolished the
dummies.
bathroom.
These men could build a house in 8 hours, and look what they're doing.
This is mind-blowing.
Look what their reading says. Along with our partners at FEMA, we will continue with disaster recovery as a result of Hurricane Milton. The safety of American people is our top priority. Look at the neighborhood that they're in.
One person could work on one tree, and another man could work on another fucking tree.
And tell me this, how much taxpayer dollars does this cost? Are you kidding? You guys, it made me lose my fucking head.
I have no words anymore. It's just like, I'm not surprised anymore. This is not shocking.
This is like the new Hands Across America.
CPB, where's that? CBP or whatever.
Is that in North Carolina? So speaking of North Carolina, though,
secures our nation's borders and facilitates lawful international travel and trade for all official CPB social media accounts. It's probably like Carolina. I don't know. Somebody in the chat smarter.
There's
than
also the FEMA division of CBP is
Customs and Border Protection.
Yeah, Customs and Border Protection.
So that's what our border protection. That's
why
that's where they are.
Oh.
Not at our border.
No.
Well, we're just letting them in anyway. It don't matter. They don't need to be there. But did you guys see how Bill Clinton was talking in North Carolina and he was like trying to do a mock Trump?
Wait, what?
He was giving this speech. He was in North Carolina and he was like trying to mock Trump, like by pretending to be Trump. And he's like, I care more about, like he goes into the whole defend the Constitution against all terrorists, foreign and domestic or whatever. And he goes, but I only care about, like, I mostly just care about the domestic terrorists. He goes into that. And then he's like, and I talk about how I'm going to make sure that Bill Clinton goes to jail, shit like that. Like, he's kind of goes off, like, and everybody's like, what the fuck? So I comment and I was like,
you know how at the end of the year, they have to be like, oh, we needed all these people so they can set their budget for next year. And if they're at the border, they don't need to spend all this money.
No.
They haven't done anything with it. So it's just like, put all these people to work real quick. Sorry
Guys.
to interrupt about
no,
that.
that's okay. You're right.
Read the Declaration of
I was reading the
Independence.
audience, the
Pass
chat.
it on.
What?
Read it. The Declaration of Independence. Learn something. We need to spread that information more. When you feel like your government is no good no more, guess what we are allowed to do in our duty as American citizens? Kick them out.
Tap dance?
Come on. When are we doing this? I'm tired of it. When are we doing it? Before they take over. Come on. We need to get together. Big posters, Declaration of Independence, and line up. And that's what we all got to do. Post up with the Declaration of Independence, each person, and say, and what? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
I think we need to, like, guns. We need to start designing things we can plug on drones. Because I feel like we're going to be in they're like, they're cutting down military personnel for blah, 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 blah. Because one person can fly 100 drones now. Like, because of robot warfare and all this stuff, it's like they don't need as many of us.
I forgot what governor in what state signed into law or a bill that says that the military can attack a U.S. citizen or like kill off a U.S. citizen. I saw it today and I forgot to fucking share this news, but this is like a real thing, not fake news, but this is something I don't know if it's in a state or 52 statewide, but I gotta find that video.
Yeah, no, it's like
Okay,
nationwide where they're now allowed to use
the military.
Yeah, the military can now take out domestic threats within the state.
Yes. They just signed that, and guess who it is? Democrats are signing that into law. It was a Democrat who brought it into the scenario. Just putting it out there. If you're not sure how you want to vote.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
The revolution
guns ready.
will really not be
Get
televised.
your Declaration of Independences, and let's get ready. Let's take our country back. Get rid of these fuckers. I'm tired.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Oh shit, that's so funny. Okay. Do you have anything else to brogrove.com? I'm not going to say it a third time because then we'll appear in your living room. But make sure you go there and come and hang out with us next Friday. If we're all hanging out, you never know. We might come live, but we are going to all be out of town because we will be at Brohemian Grove in, what is the town's name?
Summerfield.
Summerfield. Just saying.
I love that.
So it's going to have really good weather.
Yeah, well, actually, I think so.
Yeah.
Should be good
So
weather next week.
anyways, we love you guys so much.
Love
Thank
you.
you so much for always hanging out with us and being supportive. And we have a ton of fun, exciting ideas on the way. So stay tuned and go to illuminaticomic.com. Okay. Love you. Bye bye.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.